It's Chris Avalon Unfiltered, bitch. Yes, I was here for that opening, everybody. I was gonna say bitches, but I was trying to be a little more presentable. But anyway, greetings, ladies, gentlemen, theys, and thems. It's your boy Chris Avalon, and welcome to Unfiltered, the most opinionated and unapologetic talk show currently running on the internet. Now, Chris Avalon Unfiltered is a show where we dive deep into the juiciest headlines in entertainment, pop culture, and sometimes we get a little political. So grab yourselves a drink, a snack, a blunt, or whatever gets your asses going. And let's get into this here gig. Now, before we sip on these latest trending hot topics, don't forget to smash that like and subscribe button down below, and be sure to follow all my social media platforms that you will also see down below. And also, shout out to Ashley Breed for that theme song. You know, we've been teasing y'all for the longest about the opening and all this stuff. And I shot that over the summer of last year. Well, actually, no, yeah, I shot that back, shot it last year, and now you're just now seeing a summer later. But yeah, we shot that down where the hookers used to be at, over in the Meatpacking District. Hey, Victor Yates finally in the building, because last episode that I did, he was like, I have not been getting your notifications. I never know when you're live. I want to tune in to the live show and all this other stuff. So finally you were here. He said he finally got oh my God, I love this. The host, because I love the look, bitch. Production is doing her thing, honey. So yeah, smash all the like buttons, all that good stuff. Oh, I apologize. I know my camera looks like shit right now. I'm actually using my laptop camera. My webcam, for some reason, when I was trying to log into Restream, because we use Restream to do everything with the show, where I stream live, because I'm live on Facebook, I'm live on YouTube, I'm live on Twitter via Periscope, I'm live everywhere, bitch. But because I love doing the live shows, because then people can tune in and the whole interaction, all the other stuff. I live for that. So when I was trying to go live and not live, but hook everything up, for some reason my camera wasn't working, my mic wasn't working. I plugged the webcam in, I restarted, did all the damn shenanigans. So I was like, I don't want to risk using the webcam again. So if the screen, everything looked like a bunch of poopity scoop. Shout out to Kanye for that. I apologize. We have some tea. Oh, that's cute or whatever. We got a little, I feel like I'm in the Matrix with that little background. But it's pink, it's not green and black. I feel like I'm in the Matrix. Like, I don't mind being Neo. Look, according to this book that came out, Neo is actually a trans allegory. The whole point of him was he was supposed to transition and become Trinity. Trinity is the thing that encompasses all. I know it's a little deep. I'm not getting deep up into this, but that whole film is a trans allegory. Shout out to the transgenders, but it is a trans allegory. It was obviously directed and written by two trans directors, the Wachowskis, formerly the Wachowski brothers. But anyway, so we have a lot of topics to get into. We're going to talk about a lot of celebrity breakups that happened this week. Child, I was in overtime with all of that mess. We're going to talk about Pride and a whole bunch of other things. We got to get into this Madonna story. All the latest on that. What's the future holding in regards of this celebration tour? Because we have not heard anything from her camp, and the tour begins a week from today. So what's good, Molly? So yeah, we got a lot of stuff going. We're going to talk about Keke Palmer and her band acting a damn fool and trying to police her body. We're going to talk about Jennifer Lopez. Apparently she's being dragged for launching an alcohol brand. We're going to talk about them dates with Beyonce shifting, tour dates, canceling the Pittsburgh stop. I got some tea on that, because a friend of mine was telling me that he got into an argument with a dingbat member of the Beehive that apparently it's a whole bunch of shit, but we'll get into that. But and we do have some breaking news, but before we get into that, I want to ask y'all, because another thing that's been going on is this whole thing with two new damn apps done dropped this week. So we got Spill and we got Thread. Now, Thread is actually the Twitter version for Instagram that Meta decided to create. So now Meta is trying to compete with Twitter. Twitter is already in the shitter. Thanks to Elon Musk trying to charge everybody for every goddamn thing. Now you're limited down to the amount of retweets and posts you can put, but then he wants to charge you for everything. I'm sorry, Leatherface, but we're not paying money for some stupid ass service that you've given pretty much carte blanche and made it a man's land for the Candace Owens and those types. You know, the sunken place Negroes and the racists, the Fox News lunatics. So I'm sticking with Twitter on account of I use Twitter to live stream this show, as well as I use it to post a lot of my entertainment news stories directly from my website. I had a friend that tried to get on me to my, oh, well, you need to jump on it because you always be late to stuff and you want to be ahead of the curve. I'm like, okay, now, first of all, I need to know what thread and what Spill has to offer before I could even consider wanting to jump into these new apps. I'm not somebody that just dives deep into something unless I dot all my I's and cross all my T's. I got to know exactly what I'm getting into before I sign on. And then I heard the latest story this week that I saw someone post on social media, because, you know, I got a lot of followers and a lot of friends, and what irritated me, because I felt like he was trying to insult my intelligence, this friend of mine, when it was like, I said that basically what Felix is saying in the comments, I heard if you delete threads, you lose your Instagram account, because like Facebook, your Instagram is connected. You can connect your Instagram and your Facebook. You can use the same passwords, all that stuff to sign in. So my Instagram is connected to my Facebook. Oh, hell no. What the fuck is called? Excuse me. So this is why I got to turn this shit off. Why am I getting a phone call on Skype when I'm working? But anyway, so I need to know what I'm getting into with all of that stuff. So he's sending this. So I said this. I told my basis like that's what it was. And I saw like a screenshot with this circle that said in the fine print that yes, if you delete your thread, your Instagram has to go along with it. And they know that if you got a lot of followers and y'all work so hard on getting all those followers, because we know what the social medias and stuff is about, but a lot of people think that shit is real and we're so caught up in the fame and the matrix of it all that you're not willing to get rid of. You don't want to lose all those fans. So it's like, oh damn, now I'm gonna keep it, but I'm not gonna use it. So now if Mark Zuckerberg goes and says, I have 70 million people who have signed up for this app, which has got Elon shaking in his boots. Now you're in a situation where it's like, oh, well, we're counting all these numbers and all this data, but these people aren't really using it. They're stuck with it. So I'm not signing up for this shit. Look, for quiet as it's kept, it took me a long time to get on TikTok because I was like, oh no, another damn ad. And you have to realize, and then when I told him this yesterday in a phone call, oh, who is this friend? Is this friend somebody you actually hang out with? I'm like, do you hang out with all the people that follow you on social media? So if somebody is saying this and posting the evidence for me to see, I'm going to go along with it. I don't hang out with everybody that I meet. I mean, that I follow. Nobody does. You be a lie if you say you do. So I don't know. I'm waiting. I'm holding back a little bit. I'm gonna wait and see, because you know when people are so quick to jump on something shiny and new when it first come out, there's always some issues. There's always some BS. You see it with the streaming services. When HBO Max turned into Max, as soon as I converted went on to log in because I had my old account, it was transferred over to that account. That website was a mess in the beginning too, and they worked out the kinks and stuff. But I'm gonna wait and see if they add some other little bells and whistles that'll entice me to come over there. Maybe I'll check it out. But for now, I'm not jumping on another damn app. Look, first of all, I got Instagram, I got Facebook, I got Twitter, I got TikTok, and YouTube. I'm doing all of that, and I'm taking a lot of the stuff that I do for this show, and I'm editing. Like once this is done, tomorrow morning, more than likely, I'll be going through this entire episode, chopping up the different segments and posting it on all my various social media platforms. So those who aren't tuning into the full show will be able to catch those other clips. So I don't know. So let me know if y'all have signed up for Spill, or which is the Black Twitter, or if you signed up for Threads, let me know. But yes, like I said, I'm holding back a little bit. Sidebar, I just discovered a new damn Blink not too far from where I live. Bitch, that shit is huge. I was like, wait a minute, y'all got a Blink in this area. Oh, hey, Sailor Mermaid, how you doing? Oh, he loves the background. Well, that's EJ with all his, colors. I'm sure you're saying with that, and then of course there's other background where it looked like you know what this background reminds me of? Remember when RuPaul used to do on Logo, when he used to do like a recap of the full season of Drag Race at the beginning? That's what this background reminds me of. I kind of miss that he doesn't do that anymore. Quiet as it's kept, I think the RuPaul's Drag Race is way more fun when it was on a smaller, low-budget network than it is with MTV. But nevertheless, that's all I want to say. I want to go on this stupid-ass rant, and I already know, like, Elon is threatening to sue Mark Zuckerberg over some bullshit regarding that. Here's the thing. Didn't they say they was going to fight at a Coliseum in Italy and do some damn martial arts on each other? Can y'all just do that? Just take a bat and pop Elon's big ass head like the pinata side, the pinata that it is. But anyway, so let's get into this thing. So initially this wasn't planned. This is production came up with it. So let's get into the breaking news. We do need to talk about this whole Britney situation. Graphics. We got to have a little something for everything. We do bells and whistles around here, honey. Pomp and circumstance. As gays, we got to bring the pomp and circumstance. Anyway, so so let's talk about this whole Britney Spears thing, because I was relatively confused. Like, I was hearing conflicting reports. One minute she was going over to this basketball player I ain't never heard of, tapped him on his back because you can't reach his shoulder, he's so damn tall. That she said then they said the bodyguard smacked her. But then there was reports that I saw on the Jasmine brand, talking about she smacked herself, and it was a reflex when the hand was pushed away. So I know there's conflicting videos, but apparently we have the evidence and we have the video. So let's roll the tape, because I don't have the notes in front of me. So we're just going to have to watch this as a class, and then I will give my overall thoughts. Roll the clip. Oh, we got a hole, but let me just fill this air. So his name is Victor Wembanyama. Is he Japanese or African? Because I don't know. When I see Yama, I be thinking that's Japanese. Is he Blackanese? So yes, production needs a moment. So I don't know. And then Sam Asghari said that he does, I guess he had no issue with the dude or whatever, I guess, because he ain't trying to fight no giraffe looking motherfucker. So I don't know. But sidebar, why he's getting that together? Did y'all hear the tea about Kevin Federline talking about he's not gonna force his sons to see their mother once they move to Hawaii? And then I also heard, see, this motherfucker pulling stunts and shows, and he's trying to say that it's not the case, but if it turns out to be the case, Britney use a ding ding. And number two, I would fight tooth and nail, be like, see, this motherfucker claimed that this wasn't the case, but now he's trying to pull his stunt. So we're gonna make sure that this doesn't go through. And that is Kevin Federline is saying that, well, from what I hear, that child support, if you move to Hawaii, the child support extension goes up to, I believe, 22 or 23. It doesn't stop at 18. So one of the sons, I think Sean Preston, is currently 17, about to turn 18. And then you got Jaden, who's the younger one, who I think is 15 or 16. So he's trying to prolong this child support as much as he can. And then we already heard the stories about how the daughters that he has with the current wife, he's behind on paying the bills for their private school. So I'm wondering if he's using this money that's supposed to be for them boys also on supporting the entire family. Because I do not think Mr. Popozal can move his ass all the way over to Hawaii and concoct a DJ career over there. Because who's booking him for DJ gigs? I have not heard Kevin out here booking shows like he's Paulie D. There was somebody I was talking to. Oh, my friend Dave was telling me that Paulie D just recently did a DJ set at Heart. I believe it was around Pride weekend when Aqua was there and a bunch of other people. And I'm like, why is all the MTV people showing up at Heart? Then I remembered it's Lance Bass's club. So, he's from the MTV era. Obviously, he's going to bring those MTV type of artists into his nightclub. But anyway, let me know when we're ready. Because I know he's trying to get that clip. So, yeah. I am wondering about that because I'm like, I do not trust that man as far as I can throw him. I've always felt like, Kevin Federline saw a gold mine and he's taking advantage of it. And Britney's so damn young and naive and so sweet and country that she just didn't see the scam artist for what he was. But I guess that dick was good back in the day. But anyway, so let's roll this clip because now be ready.
Who did?
Okay, well, I mean, I couldn't really make out what was going on. All I saw was Britney's hair looking a damn mess. That's all I that's all I noticed in that whole video was that why the back of her hair look like that? It's like y'all it's like back in the day when Britney went and used to walk around with like that two-tone weave. Like you could see exactly where the track starts and where her real hair was. That's what that was. That's all I took from that. But I'm gonna go with the fact that what, it might have been a reflex. The guy was like, "Who is this grabbing on me and touching me?" And there was a reflex, and she smacked herself. Brittany has said many a time that she is pretty much a goofball. That she has a little situation. Sometimes she'll trip over us, so she do all that other stuff. A lot of people just want to be like, I don't know, she could have possibly done that. It's. I don't want to make it like, oh, this black man hit this poor white girl. Like we're not gonna go there with that. But I don't know if they're not pressing charges, if they're not doing any of this other stuff, then I feel like it's just a misunderstanding and let's move on. Because I just saw like so many people just making a big deal out of it, and I don't know, for some reason, when I was hearing the story, I'm like, this just sounds like just a bunch of smoke and mirrors and bullshit that y'all just trying to blow this up more than what it needs to be, basically. But I did find it overly disrespectful because I remember Robert and I were talking about this in our group chat. He might have messaged me privately. And it was saying something or another that is like a lot of the people were dragging Britney on social media over the incident that happened. And I think that people were kind of like looking down and discrediting her because they looking at her like she's this has-been pop star. It's a lot of these Gen Zers that's running around thinking they have no respect for a lot of the icons that have come before them. They act like the world did not exist before the year they were born. And that would be like the year 2000. Apparently, when Y2K came, it wiped out everybody's fucking brain cells and memory. So I don't know. So I don't like the disrespect of Britney and trying to disrespect her legacy and trying to act like she ain't shit or she's making stuff up. But I do feel like at the end of the day, I do think it was an accident. And this is the usual TMZ white press that ain't got nothing else interesting to talk about. blowing us way out of proportion. So that's what I think that is. Okay, so let's move on to the next topic, and that would be, I don't know if y'all saw, but I mean, I did post it on my Instagram and I posted on Facebook. Did y'all see the Rock Hudson All That Heaven Allowed documentary? If you have not, definitely check it out, especially if you are interested in old Hollywood and you're interested in like how the machine basically grooms its stars and turns them into this thing that is so beyond them. And then it's sort of like this, the actor becomes the thing that they've been created by the people behind the scenes. And then there's sort of like this identity crisis. So it's like, on one hand, you have a man who, was born Roy Fitzgerald. Then he becomes Rock Hudson, and he's named this guy because he didn't, he wanted to be an actor. He said he couldn't say he wanted to be an actor out loud because that was some sissy stuff. Theater was necessarily see. I think it still is in a lot of situations, a lot of households. People look at being an actor as being sort of that's gay, or that's a sissy thing. Being in touch with your emotions and playing characters, that's gay. I can't with people and excuse me, the ridiculousness they come up with. But anyway, so what I loved about the film was because I've always been, I don't know, for some reason, I guess because I kind of grew up watching these films from like my grandparents and my parents and stuff. Because my father would always say like they were always going to the movies every weekend. That was the one thing that I think I connected with my grandmother on. She was very big on like the movies and Hollywood. She actually introduced me into Entertainment Weekly. She used to get the magazines. I remember when it first came out. She used to get the magazines, and whenever I would go to their house and hang out over there, I would always read the magazines, and I would ask her, I would like, can I keep them? And then I would read them from cover to cover because I was so engulfed and fascinated by Hollywood and actors and how movies are made and going behind the scenes on sets and all that other stuff. So that kind of engulfed me in that. And then that connection of like whenever I would, me and my siblings would go to my grandparents' house. The first, we would always go to the movies, Sunrise Multiplex, out Green Acres Mall. They would always take us out there because I grew up where my grandparents and my parents, we all lived close to Long Island, so we always did stuff in like Nassau County, Suffolk County. I'll be bringing up Long Island later on when I talk about Sag Harbor and Jennifer Lopez, because I grew up going out there too. Sag Harbor, the Hamptons, Fire Island, all those areas. That was my jam when I was growing up. But anyway. Yeah, a whole nother world. So what I loved I just loved the fact about the movie is like I've always been fascinated by like old Hollywood, the 50s and 60s and stuff, and the basically what they would call the golden age of Hollywood. And how he was best friends with Elizabeth Taylor, and basically I had no idea he was 6'5". Like that was a ginormous man. And I believe he also, I don't know if he was, this might be inappropriate to ask, but I was always wondering because there was a scene in the film when he's on the phone and this guy trying to introduce him to another friend, which I think was a way for them to hook him up with other men. And child, let me tell you, when you watch this movie, Rock Hudson got around. He slept with a lot of men in this damn movie. Which then brings us later on to when we find out he has AIDS. So it wasn't a surprise that, him growing up in the 50s and 60s and that golden age of Hollywood and having those notorious pool parties and all this stuff, that he would end up getting that. And the craziest thing was like his agent, I did not like, child, that damn talent agent he had, piece of shit. And I also think that man was gay too. So he was basically teaching him like all the mannerisms of how to be straight and masculinity and the hyper masculinity, because that's what he was. He was sort of like a romantic lead. He was kind of like how we would look at like Matthew McConaughey or somebody like that, which was very much like he was this brooding leading man, and he was very much into the comedy thing. But then he also wanted to stretch out and do more serious stuff, but they didn't want that. They wanted him to stick to the same thing he's been doing. And so he went and did this one film, I can't remember the name of it, but he was trying to do this weird, dramatic, kind of psychological thriller, kind of horror movie or whatever. And the people were looking like, what the hell is this? But they were like, look, they were like, oh, he felt so uncomfortable during the movie. And I loved it also the fact that some of his lovers who were still around basically was spilling all the tea. And I love like the interaction and all of the stuff. And I also love the fact that, you know what, how he became, and I didn't even realize this, but he became the poster boy for AIDS. So when AIDS, this whole thing that was going around, this gay cancer, seconds, thank you. When this, you know, when the whole AIDS Holocaust started and people were basically calling it a cancer and the gays were the ones that was spreading this thing and it was sort of like this big plague. Unfortunately, Rock Hudson became the poster boy for it because it had gotten out. They were trying to say, oh, he was losing weight because he had food poisoning. Then it was like trying to say something that he had an eating disorder. Then I didn't even know this, but he was on the episode of Dynasty and he was so scared to kiss Linda Evans that there was a point where he like when he was kissing her in that kissing scene, his mouth was like so tightly, you know, wound closed that he didn't want to. There was this whole fear of he didn't want to pass it to her. So it was that, and then of course, yes, it was addressed the whole Reagan administration and how they treated him, how he was more friends with the throat goat, and we know who the throat goat is. It ain't Kim Petras' child. We talk about Miss Nancy. And how he was friends with her and how basically they treated him during that era. You couldn't even get Ronald Reagan's trifling ass to say the words AIDS until later on down the line when he couldn't ignore it no damn more. But everybody told me he was this great president. He was a piece of shit too. And I also didn't know that Rock Hudson was a Republican. But I don't think he was a Republican. Well, I guess in those days Republicans were way different than these loonies we got now. I don't know what the hell they call what these Republicans y'all got running around in these here streets. But yeah, I just felt like it was very interesting to hear how like a man who lived a double life and who had this public persona that he was, you know, a ladies' man and this and the other, but behind the scenes he was a big old deli queen. And you know, I was gonna say before, I wonder, was he a bottom or was he verse? Because like I said, like during one, I guess it doesn't matter, but I wouldn't be surprised if you see this 6'5" good-looking man who's like having to be in charge and in control, who's very, you know, very alpha male, the whole image, and then behind the scenes, he's this big submissive bottom. Because in one of the phone calls, he was basically the guy was telling him that the guy had 9 inches. Now, what else are you gonna be talking about when you talk about a man got 9 inches? They ain't talking about his personality. How was he talking about the dick? So, and then it was, you know, he had those infamous pool parties, which I think, you know, Hollywood still kind of runs on that in a way, but they can't fully because now we have social media and all that stuff. So, could you imagine if social media existed back in those days? It'd be a mess. And what I loved about also was that that's how Elizabeth Taylor started her whole foundation. I think it was AMFAR, right? How she started her whole foundation where they raised the money on you know, for AIDS research because nobody wanted to deal with it. So shout out to Elizabeth Taylor for being at the forefront and dealing with HIV and AIDS when nobody wanted to touch it. And that's why I live for Madonna too, because she was one of the first pop stars that kind of came out and really, you know, got into the forefront of it when nobody else would touch it. So that was one of the, I love that Elizabeth Taylor was that type of girl and how she was one of the good ones. I just remember that Sharon Stone was big with AMFAR. I don't know if she still is. As D. Louis said, 9 inches, child. Is that how much water fell? That's so disgusting. But overall, I want to just say, yes, if you guys have a chance, definitely see this film. You know, they talk about, you know, you see all the naked gay pool parties. There was a lot of sex. The arranged marriage that he was in where he married his manager, his agent's secretary. She said she didn't know that Rock Hudson was gay. Girl, you a damn liar. First of all, I know she benefited from being in that marriage. She had to have known something. She came out with a book after he died and then said she didn't know. Ain't no way in hell you didn't know your husband was a big old queen. It was about, oh, we got divorced because he was never home. Well, of course he wasn't. He was an actor. Actors are never home. That's why you cannot marry commoners. Oh, we're gonna get into a commoner later on in the show when we talk about Keke Palmer's baby father. But you can't marry a commoner because it don't work. Well, I don't know about Meghan Markle because she a commoner. But you see it didn't work with Prince Charles and Princess Diana. But yeah, like I said before, I love the fact that we got to hear from a lot of his ex-lovers. The thing that, like I told about before, that he was so afraid he was going to give his Dynasty co-star Linda Evans a lethal injection during kissing scenes that he kept his mouth shut. The secretary's name was Phyllis Gates, by the way, and they married in 1955 at the Biltmore Hotel. So, and this is around when he had turned 30 years old. So, the women loved him. The men wanted to be him, even though he was fucking probably a lot of them. And then there was like one scene where they said that he went into like one of those booths. I think it was like I don't think they had like glory holes. It was just like when you go to those, like a blue store or whatever, and they got those booths and you go in there and they said that the guys in there, I think this is in San Francisco, the guys, they be like, oh my God, it's Rock Hudson. He loved it. He loved the fact that people recognized him. And I guess he just didn't care. Because I remember I read another article, I think the director said that he didn't even want people to, he didn't even care if you even knew that he was hanging out in this place. So in a way, I guess it was an open secret. Hollywood was busy trying to hide his stuff. And they said that he was able to skirt through a lot of the behind, the being outed by the tabloids and stuff. They said they protected him because he was making so much money to the point that they offered up Tab Hunter to keep Rock Hudson in the closet. Because the rumors was always floating around. Even Rona Barrett, who I have been compared to. I remember one time when I used to work at this store, this older woman used to say, you remind me of Rona Barrett. I'm like, who? Like, she was way before my time. I didn't know who the hell Rona Barrett was. But apparently she was like basically like a Wendy Williams, or like she was a gossip, like a Liz Smith. She was of that ilk. But back in the day, she might have been one of the real the OGs of the gossip world. So I'm like, oh, Rona Barrett. When I started reading about her, and she was in the documentary, I'm like, okay, that's actually a compliment. Because Rona Barrett had the tea. So yeah, if you guys get a chance, definitely, if you have Max, I hate calling it Max. It's such a stupid damn name. Can I just keep calling it HBO Max? But if you got HBO or Max, definitely check it out. It's a great documentary. I was enthralled. I did watch it late one night and I got tired and I fell asleep. So I had to turn it off and I had to watch. There's a lot of things that I realized I have to watch early in the day. So that way I don't fall asleep on it, because I get really tired late at night, working and stuff. So yes, if you get a chance, definitely check out the documentary. It was really good. Felix said Tab Hunter and Rock were friends. I know there's a Tab Hunter documentary that I've been meaning to watch. It came out a couple of years ago. I have not seen it, but I've seen it like when I scroll through one of the streamers. I think it's on HBO Max too. I need to actually sit down and watch that. But yeah, I do like watching a lot of those old Hollywood documentaries when it comes to like talking about who was gay and all that stuff. I hope they do it like for this generation, because there's a lot of these actors that's in. Thank you. It's called Confidential. I know there's a lot of closeted gays still working today in Hollywood. Okay, so if you say it's on Netflix, then I will definitely check it out over there. Okay, so when we last hooked up, intimately on this here show, I think it was around Pride Weekend, correct? And we didn't do a show last week because it was July 4th, Independence Day. I don't know why we celebrate Independence Day. Ain't nothing shit to be independent about. Especially with the way this country is going, where y'all trying to deny people rights, and we got the whole shit with the Supreme Court going on, where y'all are trying to basically get rid of affirmative action, especially when one of them damn Uncle Ruckuses that's on the damn Supreme Court wholeheartedly benefited from affirmative action. But the true gag is, the reason why I think he's mad is because once he used affirmative action to get into those highly prestigious colleges that he got to get into. Then when he wanted to get into like the certain law firms that he couldn't get into because they didn't want his black ass up in there, then he wanted to blame affirmative action. I said, no, you's a full nigga. That's why they want your ass up in there. Ain't got shit to do with the affirmative action. The affirmative action helped you get your black ass through the door. But the fact of the matter is, I can't stand people. Let me not go on this rant about Clarence Thomas. You had to have known I was talking about him. He the only one that looked like Uncle Dan Ruckus. As D says, yes, can you imagine calling the peacock with HBO? You know what? Somebody actually told that. I remember seeing that line. Somebody wrote that. I think it was Peacock that said that. That made a joke. It was like, oh yeah, we're not changing our name. You know, and taking the P out. So calling it cock. That would be hilarious though. Like, oh, I'm gonna go watch cock. First of all, I don't even like the fact that they call it Peacock. They should have called it like NBC Plus or Universal Plus, because NBC Universal is all the same thing, right? They could have called it Universal Plus or whatever, one of those stupid names, one of those ridiculous names. But anyway, we'll just stick with Peacock because that's what we used to now. But anyway, so the last time we all hooked up intimately, you know, it was, you know, Pride weekend and Saturday third. It wasn't a lot, you know, I guess, you know, I was telling everybody be safe, have a good time, all some of stuff. So Pride came and went. Then there was a story that came out about Andy Cohen, where he was spotted in a nightclub fondling some young brown boy's nipples. I think it was at some club in Harlem. I don't even know what the name of the club was. I saw a lot of people talking about it. You know, my favorite blogger, Kempire, yes, that was shade, talked about it on his page. You know, people was dragging her because they felt like he was slut shaming in a way. I do feel like that he was trying to be like this whole typical conservative queen. Ooh, a gay man playing with a man's nipples. Like, bitch, you ain't never did that in no club. Child, I've done far more salacious things in a club than twiddle some boy nipples. And if y'all see me out and about doing my business in the club, mind your business. That's all I'm gonna say. But anyway, so you know, Andy, apparently he went viral because there was a TikTok video where somebody was secretly recording him with a young man sitting on his lap while he was fondling the nipples. So yeah, Kempire made the video. People started commenting on it. Bethany Frankel jumped in. We're going to be hearing her name a lot today because she has something to say about the marriage between, what the hell is their name? Kyle Richards and Mauricio. You know, just as Sylvester's favorite damn people. He just as fake as they are. But one social media person said this. So it's a gay man being gay. Why is this newsworthy? Please touch grass. Calling it corny as fuck to secretly record people. I do agree with that because if I am a public figure, oh look, Robert's in the building. Hey. If I'm out at a club, I get it. I'm a public figure, so I shouldn't be all upset if people are wanting, you know, to film me or whatever the case is. If you want a picture and I'm out in a public club, that's fine. I will do that. But if I'm off in the area, I don't know if he was a VIP or whatever, but if I'm out in the VIP area and I got a cute boy, I don't know if he was a scripper. Yes, I said it like Charlamagne ago, a scripper. Or, you know, just some regular dude that he saw at the club that was cute. Because quiet as it's kept, we all know, and I've been telling y'all for years, besides Andy's, you know, loves riding the white horse, that he also loves brown and black men that are younger, like Gen Zers. He loves the 20-year-old brown boys, black boys. I get like some people's frustrated because they feel like, on one hand, how is it that you can be against, you know, I mean, you're all for hunching young brown and black men, but when it comes down to certain things in our community regarding, like when you watch the Real Housewives, particularly Potomac and Atlanta, and there's been situations that has to do with colorism, racism, that sort of thing, Andy doesn't understand or can't wrap his brain around those nuances. So I get that. I get how frustrated people of color are with someone like him who they feel like, oh, we good enough for you to stick your dick in, or vice versa. But we're not good enough for you to take the time to try to understand what we go through as people of color in this country, especially when you play moderator, you know, on them damn reunions. So I get that part. But at the same time, people can fuck whoever they want to fuck. If the boy is a willing participant, if he's over 21 and he's letting Andy Cohen hunch him with that big old Jewish, ding-a-ling, or if he's a bottom, because I've heard Andy say he a top. I don't entirely believe that. But if he's over here plugging these boys with his wiener schnitzel, that's on them. But I do agree that what a lot of people were saying is that, oh my God, I'm on Andy Cohen's lap and letting him rub his nipples beyond. Another person said the Andy Cohen shit is just rank and foul homophobia, and it kind of sucks that even Andy Cohen can't be a little gay in public anymore without being admonished for it. Another person put, people shaming Andy Cohen for being gay in a gay bar with other gay guys during Gay Pride Month. Grow up, people. And that is true. It's like, at the end of the day, I don't know if y'all heard, but Andy Cohen is a homosexual. He is a gold star gay. He has said this many a times in probably his books, but I remember him saying it on Watch What Happens Live back when I used to watch it. He has said he is a gold star homosexual, meaning he has never had sex with a woman in his life. So if you are a gay man going to gay clubs, and I've heard this too because I've had friends or people I know that have been in the company of Andy Cohen. So I know the tea, where he's gone out to clubs to make people sign NDAs and all that stuff. So, and gone specifically to black parties. I'm trying to figure out how another way to say it, because we do have black parties, but black party is something else where it involves leather and that whole spiel. But not that black party. Black party with black folks. So I've heard the stories and I'm aware of the tea. So this is not news to me. This is why I didn't bat an eye at it. I'm like, this wasn't a big deal. I just thought it was just stupid that people are making a big deal out of the fact that a gay man, and I think the problem with this is the fact that we live in a society where y'all want us to entertain you, but you don't want to know that we have sex, that we're sexual beings. And it's like, yes, we do have sex. Like, yeah, we're not out here procreating and laying low and spreading the wide, even though Andy does have 2 children, like Anderson Cooper. But at the same time, it's like, yes, gay people have sex. Deal with it. And if he's I know y'all not used to seeing him in this light, but he should be allowed to go out and have a good time on Pride weekend. Rich people should not only be confined to sitting in their house like a goddamn prisoner. I don't know who came up with that idea, because I'd be damned if I'm a celebrity and I'm going to sit cooped up in my goddamn house. I'm going to the club and rub on some titties. Man titties, that is. All right, so, and they keep doing you and pay these, unless they paying your bills, pay these bitches no mind, in the words of RuPaul. All right, so let's move on, because we got some tea regarding there's a lot of celebrity breakups. We need probably a segment for that. Robert Price says, before we do, let me read some of the comments. Felix Meow says, Sugar Daddy. Wait, hold on. Robert said Hulu is going to merge with Disney Plus once Comcast. Yeah, I've heard that Hulu is merging with Disney, which means I think Hulu is not going to be around anymore, and Disney is going to be just Disney. I mean, all the stuff is on there. First of all, I was looking on Disney Plus yesterday, and I've noticed that there's a lot of stuff that is already from Hulu already on there. Remember the show Alias? It's actually on Disney Plus. Because I remember I started rewatching it. And I'm like, they took it off Hulu. Then I went over there. The whole series of Alias is on it, all 5 seasons. So if you want to watch it, you can. I also saw they got a lot of the Marvel movies that were created by other studios that were under other different studios is on Disney Plus now. So the merge is slowly starting to happen. Felix says Sugar Daddy, I guess referring to Andy hunching young boys. Well, they're of age. Oh, and another thing, I didn't like the fact that people were trying to compare him to Ed Buck. I was like, first of all, we're not going to do that. I have never heard those stories about Andy Cohen doing any kind of Ed Buck type stuff to any black people. And y'all know the story of Ed Buck. Andy ain't doing that. I can tell you that for a fact. He ain't doing that. So when people try to equate Andy Cohen with Ed Buck, that's some bullshit. Let's not do that. Because Ed Buck was out here literally injecting black men with meth and basically playing Russian roulette with these people's lives. He got off on having control over these men while they were under the influence of drugs. Robert says Andy and Anderson are bottoms. Now we know why Anderson said they're not compatible in dating, because they're both wide receivers in the field. Lewis says, SD said, we do have sex, child. Throw me the lifeline. I need to I need to dial the 1-800 just a tip. Yeah, I did hear all the Indiana Jones movies on Disney. Child, speaking of which, did y'all hear the new Indiana Jones movie bombed at the box office? I told y'all it was. I told y'all that movie was gonna flop before it came out. The last time we was on this live and we had a conversation, y'all was talking about Indiana Jones. I said I'm not gonna see it because it's gonna bomb at the box office. So, excuse me. So yeah, so I'm not surprised. I just feel like we can have a whole conversation another time about what I think is going on with this box office. Oh, as far as the whole he a big cokehead. I don't need no more water, but let me take another sip. Allegedly. That's all I'll say. I beat you to it. Production already was like, allegedly. I was like, allegedly. We here. As you said, how did I know about that movie? Because I pay attention to the numbers. The pre-ticket sales is a whole lot. And I also watch, a lot of times, I've been going to the movies a lot lately. And I watch the reaction of the audience. And a lot of times when I've been in the theater, based on certain trailers that pop up, I could tell by the audience, the energy in the room. I don't know. I think Virgos, we're empaths, so we're very sensitive to energy. I could tell that a lot of people just were not excited for this movie. Who wants to see an 80-year-old man try to do stunts like he's fucking Chris Hemsworth in Extraction 2? We ain't buying that. Plus, there was so much CGI in some of those scenes. I knew it wasn't going to do well. I did hear that the movie wasn't that great. I also heard that the plot for this new Indiana Jones movie is similar to the plot in the new Mission Impossible movie, which I'm actually going to see on Wednesday. So I'll let y'all know how that movie is when Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1 comes out. But anyway, let's get back to the show. I just wanted to address the live chat for a second before we get to you said time travel, but I heard it was something about, was there something also had to do with a key or something or another? Because that's what's in this one too, where it's about a key and AI and all that other stuff. I mean, I don't think they're gonna do that in Indiana Jones. AI did not exist in them times. Yes, we've talked about the commercials. There's literally 30 minutes of fucking trailers. That shit is annoying. Especially, I don't know how they do the 30-minute trailers when a movie is damn near 3 hours. That's another thing that pisses me off. But let's get into these celebrity breakups. So the first one that I heard about was Kyle Richards and Mauricio. But we're not going to talk about that one. That's the big one, and we got to break that one down. But the first one that I heard about was Billy Porter. After the Kyle thing. So I think it was the same day. We had found out that they were getting a divorce. 6 years of marriage. And according to People magazine, it says, I can confirm that Billy Porter and his husband, Adam Smith, whose sidebar, Adam and I are friends. Just saying. Adam Smith have made a sad decision to end their marriage after 6 years, said the Pose actors rep Simon Halls. Now, if I'm not mistaken, Simon Halls is Matt Bomer's husband. In case y'all didn't know that. The decision was an amicable and mutual one and was made after much consideration. They continue to love and support each other as they embark on this next chapter, as Halls. There will be no further comment from either parties, and it would be appreciated if their privacy is be respected. Now that I can go with. They do need the respectable, privacy thing, because here's the thing. They're not reality stars. So when you're a movie star and you're doing all this other stuff and you have this career and stuff, I do believe that, yeah, let them work out their situation, because Billy Porter's not out here spreading his business like a Kyle and Dan Mauricio. So I'm here for that. Now, for those who didn't know, Porter and Smith met in 2009 at a dinner party. They broke up after dating for about a year, but 5 years later, they rekindled their romance. They got married on January 14, 2017, 2 weeks after Porter proposed in London on December 29, 2016. In 2017, Porter told people why getting married was an important milestone for him. He says, "We both grew up in households where who we are is labeled an abomination. The thought of marriage, there was no context for it. There was no dreaming about it because there was no context to dream. It was unspoken and very clear that the sanctity of marriage was not for us. So to see that come around, to see that tide turn, it still takes my breath away. I'm still trying to find the words to describe it. I didn't think I needed it. I lived with the idea that it just wasn't for us. So when we went to get our marriage license the other day, the act of that was so powerful in a way that crept up on the both of us, and it just grounded that moment." Now, here's the thing. I did not see this marriage breakup coming. I did not personally. I don't know why. Maybe I wasn't that invested in the marriage. However, when I posted the story, and I've had a couple of people slide in my DMs and conversations, because I get a lot of the DM conversations, which I'm here for. Not everything needs to be for the consumption of everybody to read. But I do like the fact that I could bring it on the show and be like, in context, this is all the stuff that happened, and so on and so forth. Or people have had this conversation with me. And people saying they kind of saw this coming, and I'm like, where the fuck was I? Because I really wasn't, like, I didn't see this marriage breaking up. But I think maybe what happened with them is that I think it may have been that maybe Billy's just been extremely busy. He's been directing a lot. He's been he just invested. I know he's an investor in Frankie Sharp's new lounge, which oh my god, what's it called? Club Frankie something. Yeah, Frankie Sharp, who used to be with the Q, he has a new spot in the city now. And Billy Porter, who was an investor in the Q, is now an investor in Frankie Sharp's new spot. You were so silly. He said, "I'm sliding Billy's DMs ASAP. I need a new house." I was going, you know what? Since this is Chris Unfiltered, I'm going to just ask the question. Do Billy Porter like black men? I just want to know. I'm just saying, don't hold the tomatoes. I just want to know. Because remember, he's been with Adam Smith. Previously, I remember Billy when he used to date Sir Ari Gold. May he rest in peace. So Billy was into dated Ari Gold. Ari Gold's a Jewish guy. Looked like, I used to think when I first saw Ari Gold, I was like, who is that? He was his fine ass. I used to think he was Puerto Rican. No, he's a Jewish guy. But he said Billy will like me. You going force by hook or by crook. I'm gonna get him. But yeah, that's why I say he's been directing, he's been producing, he's been doing a lot of stuff. And I actually thought that I could have sworn, or maybe I'm mistaken. I thought Adam was his manager. So Billy's been everywhere. Child, sidebar. I remember, speaking of Ari Gold, I remember one time I went to Daniel Nardicio's party. I'm about to spill some tea, child. And if you ever been to a Daniel Nardicio party, you know exactly what type of parties he throws. With, for the clean part, there's back rooms or dark rooms and things of that nature that are there. But anyway, I forget exactly what club it was. It was on 30-something Street in Midtown Manhattan. And Ari Gold was the go-go dancer in a cage. I think Kevin Aviance was there too. I was good and lit. Billy Porter was on the dance floor with his husband. I don't even know if they were married. I can't remember that far back of what year it was. But I do remember that Billy Porter was there with his husband. and it was a sex party. So, but you didn't necessarily. Not everybody was having sex. There was some people that was on the dance floor just there to party and club. I can't say for sure that Billy and his husband was, had an open relationship with us. So I'm not gonna put that out there. But I do remember that we were at the same party. Just saying. And I used to see Billy on the piers all the time too. This is before people even knew who he was. So, I'm in a way, I didn't see it coming. I know Omar, when I talked to him on Instagram, he said that he kind of saw it coming. I guess maybe I was just not into their relationship, like fully invested in relationship. I don't know why I didn't see it, but I just didn't know. So unfortunately, I feel bad that, Billy and his man is kind of breaking up, but you know what? Not everything, I guess, a lot of people say like 6-7 years is when relationships usually kind of like start to fall apart and crumble and stuff. Like, me personally, I don't think relationships is meant to last forever. So good luck, Billy. Now another relationship, because we're gonna get into a bunch we got a couple. So then I heard that our former mayor, Bill de Blasio, is separating from his wife, Chirlane McCray, after they've been married for about 27 years. And they announced the breakup in a New York Times interview that was published this past Wednesday. It says, according to the former New York City mayor, he and McCray first made the decision to separate about 2 months ago while watching TV at their Park Slope, Brooklyn townhouse. How do you decide, y'all Netflix and try to chill, and then all of a sudden you're in your apartment in your townhouse in Brooklyn, and like, you know what? I don't like your ass anymore. We need to split. Quiet as it's kept. I'm surprised their relationship lasted as long as it now. This relationship, I'm actually surprised lasted long, especially since his ex-wife was eating pussy. Like, his ex-wife is a lesbian, soon to be. Chirlane used to be a full-on carpet muncher before, he married her. It said, also surprising was the revelation that de Blasio and McCray do not plan to divorce and will remain separated as they both date other people. What in the shenanigans is going on? The pair will also continue sharing their Brooklyn home after the split. So they're going to live in the same house, screw other people, separate, but not get a divorce. Where they do that at? But I guess if you like it, I love it. I can look back now and say, here were these inflection points where we should have been saying something to each other, de Blasio told the Times. And I think one of the things I should have said more is, are you happy? What will make you happy? What's missing in your life? Coochie. That's what's missing in her life. That's what she was missing. She was missing getting, eating that good old, sushi. She was missing eating that good old clam. I told you can't turn a homosexual into a straight person. She could have played that up. She wanted to play the Rock Hudson life for a long time. She got her 2 kids out of the relationship. She got to be the first lady of New York City for 12 damn years. Or was it 8? Because I don't know. I think, what the hell is his name? Bloomberg, who basically started the inflation of this rich shit in New York. Didn't he do 3 terms? Which I don't know how that was possible. But I know that de Blasio did 2 terms. And so McCray said, I just want to have fun. It's not like we haven't had fun. How can you be a couple in the fullness of what you tend to think when you've got this responsibility on your shoulders and you don't want to add to that? They married in 1994 in Brooklyn's Prospect Park. McCray was allegedly not allegedly, honey. You said allegedly, we doing that? An out lesbian when the people first met, and de Blasio said he always lived with the thought that their relationship was a time bomb ticket. For the guy who took the chance on a woman who was an out lesbian and wrote an article called I Am a Lesbian, well, not getting straight to the point, de Blasio told the Times, there was a part of me that would at times say, is this like a time bomb ticking? Is this something that you're going to regret later on? So I always live with that stuff. I just find it hilarious that it took... But I just say, go in, bitch, let have. Oh, yes, bring on the that line. That's one of my favorite lines from... oh, my God, how did I forget the name of the show? with Noah's Ark, bitch. But look, I cannot with y'all. Now, he's surprised. He was like, oh, he met this woman. She was a full-on bulldagger. And now you up here talking about, oh, I always had that in the back of my mind. That's the same equivalent of thinking that, okay, when your person cheats on you, while you may have forgiven them, by just saying that you forgive them, but in the back of your mind, you still thinking, oh, at any point, this person gonna cheat on me again. So y'all relationship was fucked up from the beginning, and I'm surprised that y'all stuck by this foolishness for damn near 3 decades. Who stays with somebody for 3 decades with this foolishness in their mind, and they come to this conclusion when they damn near apply for ARP? Because I know they both old as hell. But you want to know something? At the end of the day, after all those shade and shenanigans I just threw, if you like it, I love it. Better y'all realize it now and wait another 30 damn years and just sitting in the same house hating each other. So she go, see as many lesbians as she want. Trust and believe there's plenty in Brooklyn she could get hunched by. And de Blasio could find other women that he could be hunching. Because I'm sure there's plenty in Brooklyn he can be hooking up with. But trust and believe, lesbian land is all up in Brooklyn. Have you ever been to Brooklyn Pride? You could bat your eyes in any direction. You'll see a lesbian, smack you upside the head every which way you go. You don't live for the lesbians, but let's call it what it is. And then this shit comes up. So I wake up, I think on Thursday. Yeah, minding my business. Then all of a sudden, I get a little message in my Instagram messenger. Omar sent me that Ricky Martin and Jwan Yosef done broke up after 7 years, or was it 6 years? See, Billy Porter was 7 years. Ricky Martin and Jwan was 6 years. I'm like, oh hell no! What the hell is in the water? Because all the gays is breaking up. You got the half a gay breaking up, as in Chirlane and de Blasio. And now he got Ricky Martin and his foot fat, and now he got to find some new feet to suck on. Yeah, he likes the feets. In case y'all didn't know. So global superstar Ricky Martin and his artist husband, Jwan Yosef, decided to amicably call it quits after 6 years of marriage. Now, this comes from People Magazine because people have been getting all the scoops. Saying, we have decided to end our marriage with love, respect, and dignity for our children and honoring what we have experienced as a couple all these wonderful years. The Puerto Rican superstar and the Syrian-Swedish artist tell People in a joint statement. Sidebar, can I find me a Syrian man? They be having some, these Syrians, child, I don't know what's in the water, but those some gorgeous ass men. I'm such a slut, whatever. Our greatest desire now is to continue having a healthy family dynamic and a relationship centered on peace and friendship to continue the joint upbringing of our children, preserving and the respect and love that we have for each other, continued the ex-couple who share 2 children. Daughter Lucia, born in 2018, and son Ren, born in 2019. So Ricky in total has 4 children because he has Lucia and Ren, which he shares with Jwan. They adopted, they had them together. But Ricky, before he got with him, had Mateo and Valentino, who were born in 2008. And I believe they're 14. And it says that Martin previously welcomed twin sons Mateo and Valentino, whom he'll continue to raise as a single parent. Martin, who's 51, and Yosef, who is 38, first connected on Instagram in 2015. Yeah, Ricky slid in them DMs, honey. So maybe y'all can slide in his. And they began dating 6 months later after meeting in person for the first time in London. They made their romance red carpet official at the 2016 Amfar Inspiration Gala and announced their engagement the same year before getting married in 2018. The Living La Vida Loca singer shared the news of their union during an interview with E! News in January 2018, saying, "I'm a husband, but we're doing a heavy party in a couple of months." This is what he told the outlet. "We exchanged vows and we swear everything and we sign all the papers that we need to sign prenups and everything. So now at least he's smart. Cause these other idiots, I'll be like, oh, I love him. He loves me. I'm not. Victor, you about to be busy tonight. First he's sliding in Billy Porter DMs, and now he's gonna slide in Ricky's. But you know he bilingual. It said both men who each speak multiple languages have spoken about their determination to pass down the linguistic flexibility to their 4 children. We speak Spanish at home, but they also speak English and French, Martin shared during a 2013 appearance in the Ellen DeGeneres show, knowing that his twin sons are enrolled in a French school. I want them to be exposed to everything. That's very much like what Madonna did with Lourdes. Like Lourdes speaks Spanish, she speaks English, and she speaks French. First of all, I remember when I used to watch I'm Gonna Tell You a Secret, and she had little Lourdes over there, Je te fais en secret. And she's like, I'm like, yes, bitch, you better speak that French. That was I'm Gonna Tell You a Secret. But anyway, so it's like Yosef has said he's teaching the 2 youngest kids Arabic as well. The way I bring up my babies is that I focus on Arabic rather than English or Swedish, he told Mike Callie. I taught my kid how to count to 10 in Arabic, and she's only 2, which is wonderful. Well, you know, little kids pick up stuff that quick at a young age. Their brains are like sponges. An accomplished painter and a conceptual artist, Yosef has won awards, including the Thread Needle Prize for Exhibiting Artists in London and the Beers Contemporary Award for Emerging Art in London, both in 2013 per Vogue Arabia. In 2020, he won the Archie Products Design Award for a series of rugs he designed, inspired by his work with duct tape. He opened a new studio in LA earlier this year. Martin is said to star in the main cast of Apple TV Plus's upcoming period comedy, Palm Royale, alongside Kristen Wiig, Laura Dern, Allison Janney, and Carol Burnett. Later this year, he'll embark on the trilogy tour throughout North America with co-headliners Pitbull and Enrique Iglesias. So, look, I always said when I have children, I definitely want them to speak multiple languages. I would love them to learn, well, I was going to learn English, but I would definitely love for them to learn French. I would love for them to learn Spanish. I would love for them to learn all multitude of languages. So that way, if somebody talk about me and shit, I'm be like, what they say? Then I can cuss their ass out. But yeah. I gotta feel bad about this one. I'm like, damn, I thought Ricky and Jwan were gonna last. But I think what it has to do is the fact that they have these 4 children. Jwan is an artist, so he's got his own thing going. Ricky is acting and he's traveling the world, he's performing, and it's just like it's hard to keep you know, on the same path, especially when Ricky has accomplished so much in his life. He's already half a century old, 51 years old, still looks youthful as ever. And you have this man you're married to who's in his late 30s, hasn't even hit 40 yet. And around your 40s is when you start to have all these epiphanies and you start to try to figure out where you want to go in life. So with that, I'm just thinking like Ricky has his ambitions and things he's got going on. Jwan is, you know, his career is kind of catapulting. So I could definitely see that it's irreconcilable different. Like there's a lot going on where their careers are taking over 2 different directions. So it's unfortunate this has happened, but you know, I like Ricky, and you know what, sidebar, do you think maybe this has something to do, and I don't even want to go there, but remember when Ricky Martin was accused of the sexual abuse of his nephew and this, that, and the other? I'm hoping that that's not something that has to do with it, because while we've kind of put that to bed in the press and everybody stopped talking about it and that story came and went, I'm hoping that's not the case. That's basically what I'm saying. All right, child. So let's get into this Kyle Richards story, because I know it's taking me forever to get into. There's been so much going on. We are already an hour into the show, but we're gonna power through, child. So, all the years Kyle Richards ain't had no damn storyline. Now she finally look like she finally got one, because it's been reported that the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills veteran has separated from her real estate husband Mauricio Umansky after 27 years of marriage. Now this, of course, is coming from People magazine, so they're a legitimate, reputable source. A source close to the pair tells People Kyle and Mauricio have been separated for a while now, but are still living under the same roof. They remain amicable as they figure out what's next for them and their family. Richards, who's 54, first met Umansky, who's 53, at a nightclub in 1994. At the time, Richards was divorced from her first husband, Garash Al-Jufri, with whom she has a daughter, Farah, who is 34. After getting engaged later that year, the couple tied the knot in January 1996 and went on to welcome 3 daughters, Alexia, 27, Sophia, 23, and Portia, who is 15. In 2010, their family was officially introduced to the public when the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills premiered on Bravo. What I also did not know when I found this out, because I was, I think I was watching an interview with, I'm gonna play this clip in a second. Alison Dubois, who y'all know was played on TV by Patricia Arquette in the show Medium, recently did an interview, and she said, which I did not know, and I'm gonna get into a couple of things she said, but what she said was that Kyle gets points for, like, I think producer points or something another, because she developed the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. And I'm kind of wondering, I'm like, well, did Nene get points because didn't she do the same thing with Atlanta? Or maybe because she, she's not Kyle, a white girl, whatever. They don't give black people the same grace of, oh, let you come to us with this idea. Let's give you points when you make money off of the show. Okay, so Victor's, well, yeah, I do remember that the abuse issue was a lie. The relative wanted money, and I did state that when I talked about that story months ago, the Ricky Martin story. But yeah, so I'm hoping, I was thinking I hope that didn't kind of cause a wear and tear and a strain on their marriage, but I'm glad that, it didn't, because I didn't believe the story anyway. So yeah, we have a clip, but before we get to that clip, they've been on the show for the past 12 years. I did hear something other that Mauricio went on that stupid ass podcast, Two Titties in a Pod, with Tamra and Teddy, Teddy Mellencamp, who is the biggest Kyle groupie under the sun. And they did allude to the fact that they had some marital problems, but it wasn't like to the point where they were going to break up. Now, there have been many stories that have come out over the years where Mauricio has been known to step out on his marriage and cheat with multiple women. I have a story that I'm going to allude to that was written 10 years ago by, I think it was Daily Mail, which was talking about him and the cheating. Nene did develop the reunion idea. She developed the reunion idea. I believe she also gave, because I think she also gave Andy the idea for Watch What Happens Live. Because if y'all remember, the very first reunion for Real Housewives of Atlanta was called Watch What Happens. It wasn't even called the Real Housewives Season 1 reunion. It was called Watch What Happens. So yeah, so there's been stuff about news of philandering, and there was a whole lot of stuff that was going on with that marriage. But before we get into all this stuff, because I also have their statement that they sent to the thing, but because I know like it's a clip that makes I want to get, but let me finish this. So I was like, I've always been 100% supportive of her no matter what she does. The real estate broker told E! News in November 2022. If she wants to reconcile with her sister Kathy, I am all down for it. If she's not ready to reconcile, then she needs to just keep it going for a little bit. I support her 1,000%. While marking their 25th and renting anniversary in January 2021, Richards and Umansky appear to be happier than ever. And blah, 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 so on and so forth. So yeah, they were putting on this united front for all of us. And they also stated this. They said, in regards to the news that came out about us today, any claims regarding us divorcing are untrue. However, yes, we have had a rough year, the most challenging one of our marriage, but we both love and respect each other tremendously. There have been no wrongdoing on anyone's part. Although we are in the public eye, we ask to be able to work through our issues privately. While it may be entertaining to speculate, please do not create false stories to fit a further salacious narrative. Girl, miss me with the bullshit. Number one, this is the shit that pisses me off. You don't do a reality show for 12, 13 years, wrapped up season 13, and quiet as kept. I heard that when they heard about this splitation, Bravo cameras are extending filming because they stopped filming back in May. I believe at the end of May. Now they've extended film because they want to capture this shit on camera. And my thing is this: you don't do a reality show for 12 years. You don't do a reality show when the going is great, but when the shit hits the fan, now you want privacy. No, sis. This is what I tell people when y'all post y'all business on social media. When y'all start posting after 5 minutes, you meeting somebody, all of a sudden you want to claim he your boyfriend. And y'all want to show us when y'all going to San Tropez. Y'all want to show us going to this cute little spot in the Hamptons. You want to show us going to this little spot over here, doing this over there, and that and the third. But then when it comes down to the breakup and the split and stuff, now you want us to tell us to mind our business? No, bitch, I want to see how this story ends. You don't get to control and dictate how much of the story gets told, especially when you're getting paid millions of dollars a season to spill your business all over TV for us to speculate and on, because y'all so damn fame hungry. But anyway, let's get to this clip, and then I will tell y'all this tea about Mauricio and the alleged cheatation and all that other stuff. Roll the clip.
Never leaves me, I'm going with him.
He will never emotionally fulfill you, ever. Know that.
I was waiting for Kyle to fly across the table.
I don't know.
Wow.
Who is she talking to about this? Like, who is the person on the other side? The dead person?
We'll take care of you, and as soon as the kids are bigger, you'll have nothing in common.
What are you talking about? Have you seen my husband? I mean, hello? Sentence pissed me off more than almost anything.
He will never emotionally fulfill you, ever. Know that.
Know that. Know that.
Apparently I'm a lesbian.
Oh, apparently you are, because the word on the street is she hooking up with this, what is it, Morgan's? I don't even forget the bitch's last name, but they've been showing that she's been spotted hanging out with this country singer for the past couple of years. I haven't been paying attention to Kyle like that, so I don't be paying attention to her in that way. So yeah, she's been hooked. Apparently she's getting her clam licked too by some country singer. Do I think that Kyle might be a lesbian? You know what? I do feel like some people, or bisexual, I think some people do later on in life explore their sexuality. And if that's what you're doing, then more power to you. I don't fault her for getting hunched by a woman. Look, Chriselle Stiles did it when she was, hooking up with all these damn men over the years. Now she done married G Flip, the Australian rapper from the Australian rapper from Australia. So Chriselle from Selling Sunset, now she a full-on lesbian, married to a woman. Now all that. I don't know, because I haven't seen the current season that's on Netflix, but I don't know if that whole thing played out or if they even showed the wedding. But I know that there was. I wrote the article and stuff that she did get married. But anyway. So if you come out later on in life, there's many people that do that come out later on and they explore stuff. But do I think that Kyle might be a lesbian? No, I do. I think Kyle is the type of girl that will do anything for relevancy. And because fame, like money, is one of the most powerful drugs in Hollywood. And I do believe that she will do anything to maintain that status, even though she will sit up in here and try to act like she the victim, like she always does. And I remember I was watching the interview that Alice Dubois recently did, and she was talking about it. She was talking about that, how Kyle is just a nasty woman. A lot of the women that was on that season were just fake and phony and were just, all kinds of crazy or whatever, and how she felt that she was used by Kelsey Grammer. Now, Kelsey Grammer produced the show Medium. And I'm connected. I was like, oh, wait a minute. So they were friends. They knew each other. He produced a show Medium. He asked her to do a scene or whatever with Camille, because Camille and her were not friends. She was more or less friends with Kelsey. But that whole thing, she said she felt used later on because, in a way, Kelsey basically was having his own little affair out in New York with that girl that he done married now while he was doing the play. So he needed to keep Camille busy, because she's a vile ass human being. So anyway, So the tea is, the Daily Mail did a story back in June of 2013 stating Real Housewives star Kyle Richards hit by claims her husband cheated with a female prostitute and a transsexual escort, saying Kyle Richards nearly quit the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills over allegations that her husband Mauricio Umansky cheated on her and now faces new claims he was involved in a kinky threesome. The 44-year-old reality star was talked out of leaving last month by the show's producers, but new revelations of an alleged threesome involving her husband, a female escort, and a transsexual prostitute have surfaced. Mauricio has been the subject of philandering rumors, and Star Magazine this week added fuel to its report of a wild sex threesome. The magazine interviewed a transgender former prostitute who claimed that her female escort partner brought Mauricio back to their home after picking him up at the Hollywood Roosevelt Hotel. Tony Newman, a transsexual known as Mistress Terry, says she and her escort partner, Mistress Carmen, who's 29, ran their sex business out of their apartment in the Los Feliz area of LA, saying, and I quote, we've had many high-end clients between 2003 and 2005. Mauricio began being one of them, said the 50-year-old Newman, who recently released a memoir, I Rise, detailing her life as a prostitute. It said Newman said the duo worked with by having Mistress Carmen take men into her room where she would offer them the option of having her transsexual partner come in. Mauricio went for the threesome option, and a kinky twist asked both of them to dress up as police officers. And then it goes on and on and on. But do I believe this story? I damn sure do. You do not. You will be surprised what people do out in Beverly Hills, particularly, well, LA, particularly Beverly Hills. A lot of these people, there's a lot of people in Beverly Hills who will just walk the walk and talk the talk and live their life as they see fit, whatever. But when you get a lot of these people, when you watch these shows like the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, they're not a true representation of real Beverly Hills people. When you watch the Real Housewives of New York over the years with the Ramonas and the Sonyas, all that, they are not a true representation of New York. That is a small part of New York City that is heightened for TV. Victor says he went on a book tour with Tony. What? Bitch, I did not know that. But yeah, so do I believe the story? Yes, I do. I do believe that, you know what, a lot of people in Hollywood, they do a lot of kinky shit behind the scenes. And do I think that Mauricio has been 1,000% faithful to Kyle? No, because I've heard stories that Kyle works overtime killing stories about her husband's philandering, where they send cease and desist out left, right, and center. So I do believe that what she said as an Allison, he does not emotionally fulfill her. He doesn't. She stayed with him until the kids are grown, and then they're going to go their separate ways. Yes, Portia is not fully grown. She's 15, but I don't see this marriage lasting. Another thing that pissed me off was hearing this story about Kim Zolciak and Croy calling off the divorce. So basically, this is all a ploy in so many ways, because I don't know how you sit there accusing people of doing drugs. They're unfit to be a parent. You're trying to get full custody. You accuse the sister and the nanny, whoever, of kidnapping one of the kids. You calling the cops every 5 minutes like the Karens and Kens y'all are. First of all, I would have had the cops, sue these asses. Add another lawsuit on top of the other lawsuits that they have with the overextended credit card bills and this, that, and the other. To for playing in our face. And now you think and all this was a ploy for a reality show, because we saw the picture of Kim Zolciak taking a picture with some producer that produced like Keeping Up with the Kardashians and this, that, and the third. So you thinking after all this, and once you hook up and get a reality show out of all this fake drama that y'all just cooked up, you really think you have the full-on trust of the audience to sit there and watch another show with you and your boring ass family? No, you've killed our trust. And you damn sure can't go back to Real Housewives of Atlanta, especially after that stunt you pulled during the season with the roaches in Nene's bathroom. And then you try to play like the victim, that all the black women were ganging up on you, and you went in the bathroom and had your little cry fest. And Andy had to come in there and console you, and he looked stupid. He had to go on the Breakfast Club and clear up everything because Black Twitter was dragging his ass for being two-faced. Is he a Gemini? And then what was it? And then allegedly Croy had a gun on set. I don't know before, but you was going to shoot them women. What? You scared of black women? What you need a whole gun on a set of a reunion for? So yeah, so they're a mess. I want to know all of Kyle's business, and I think it's time that we all come and get on Kyle on the strength of what she did to LVP during her season, the way she went after Denise Richards. And you want to know something funny enough? I never used to really pay attention to Kyle Richards and all the stuff she was doing in the past. But it wasn't until this past season that I started seeing her for the fake bitch she is. And that was like the thing when she kept involving herself in everybody's business because the bitch ain't had no damn storyline. When she went and was yanking on Sutton. She was very much team Diana. Diana, that trash ass whore. Sex trafficker, allegedly. And the whole situation with Garcelle's son. I still ain't off they necks with that. Especially when her and her bitch ass husband sitting there laughing, thinking it's cute that Erica Jane curses at a 14-year-old. First of all, that bitch would have got every bit of this smoke. You cursing my child. This ain't no when they go low, we go high. I gotta be the higher. I gotta take the higher road because I'm a black woman on a TV show full of white bitches. No. You won't get this smoke. You curse my child. I'm cussing you. I'm gonna cuss the wig right off your head. You don't talk to my child crazy. And then what I heard was that they basically were trying to say that People magazine was making up the story. So you basically gonna call a reputable magazine like People a liar. Now, you know, they vet every little thing before they go forward with a story. And they've broken a lot of stories. First of all, Bravo spills a lot of their, a lot of stories to People magazine. So Kyle gonna sit up here and think that we supposed to believe that People magazine made up a story about her tired ass husband getting a divorce. Y'all not that interesting for somebody to make up a story about y'all. I want to know: how many people have actually watched his Netflix show, the one that's supposed to be about flipping, another real estate show, which has got a second season? I've never seen a single episode. I just don't find Mauricio to be interesting. Remember at one point he was the hottest husband? He lost me after that whole thing with Garcelle. Like, I don't like the fact that y'all sitting there thinking it's funny to laugh at a child, getting cursed out by a grown ass woman. Oh, she needs to let off some steam. I like seeing her where she's not holding back anymore. Let her cuss out Portia. Let's see if y'all got that same energy. That's all I'm saying. Oh, it's funny when it's not one of yours. Then I remember Allison said, and then we're gonna get off this story. Allison Dubois went and also said that people don't even like Kyle in Beverly Hills. That one of her friends, someone who was a real good friend of her, I wonder if it was Faye Resnick, that one of her friends actually came to a charity thing and paid, I think, $3,000 to sit with the woman who told off Kyle in an episode of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. So they don't even like a lot of these broads that's out there. They don't. She said a whole bunch of other stuff that was really interesting. So if y'all get around to it, it was on the Behind the Velvet Rope. David Yontef, he always gets the good damn interviews. He also did an interview with Bo Dietl. Child, I gagged when I saw that one. But yeah, so if you get a chance, definitely check that out. I saw a lot of good stuff that came out of that interview. It was also somehow how she wrote that Allison said she wrote a book where I think it was her, I don't know if it's her latest book or whatever, but she said it was her 6th book and her husband is on the cover of the book. And she posted the I think it was about like spiritual connections and finding your soulmate and how to move on when you lose your soulmate. Like if they pass away, how do you move on from that? From losing someone that you consider a soulmate. And she said Kyle slid in her DMs because she posted a picture on her Instagram and asked Allison, "Does your husband emotionally fulfill you?" So how is it that 12 some odd years later, a decade plus later, you still that comment still lives rent free in your head? That just goes to show the utter insecurity that this lady has, that this is what you worrying about. You still, that shit that I said to you in an episode is still stinging you. It still hits you at home. It still hurts. My thing is, if your shit is secure with you and your husband, what this medium lady is saying is medium lady, if that's what you want to look at it, because I do believe that she is the real deal. But if that's the way you're trying to put, like, discredit the fact that she's a medium, psychic, whatever you want to call it, if this what she's saying is not true, that shouldn't bother you. It shouldn't affect you. But years later, I posted on my Instagram, and you still bothered by it. So you think of sliding my DMs and saying, "Does this about she wasn't gonna do it in public," because the audience would have chimed in and read her ass. Like, damn, you still hurting by that? They probably would have said the same shit I said. So I believe every word. I believe Mauricio out here cheating. I do believe she's not emotionally fulfilled. I do believe that she's doing the Ozempic and getting all the surgeries, doing this other stuff because she wants to look youthful. She's shaped like a little boy right now. We've always known that because Kyle's admitted in the past that she's had issues with food. She's had issues with her body and eating disorders and that sort of thing. So a mess. But I am definitely curious to see how this is going to play out during the current upcoming season of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, because they did say that it's not going to be a part. I mean, that this was filmed. The show was filmed back in May, I believe, is when they stopped filming, late May. So cameras have stopped rolling. But now that this tea has come out, the cameras are up again, because it's probably going to make, who knows, maybe to make Kyle's story more interesting, because I doubt she had one before all this drama. So anyway, okay, so we have a couple more stories to get to, and then we're gonna take this here break, because I know, like, child, it's a lot going on right now. All right, so let's talk about Madonna, because child, there's a lot going on now. You know, I had to wear the shirt, support the queen, but she gonna get some tough love in this episode. So I'm sure you all heard the stories by now that Madonna was rushed to the hospital because they said that she had an infection. She was found unconscious. So many conflicting stories had come out. Don't know what to believe at this point. But this one, I'm thinking I'm starting to believe. And I've been connecting. Once these little other stories started coming out, I started to connect the dots. Some more details are starting to come out about Madonna's recent hospitalization, with word coming out that she had to be revived with a NARCAN injection before she was admitted to the ICU. Now, according to Radar Online, when the Queen of Pop was found unresponsive on June 24th, those who discovered her lifeless body were forced to administer a NARCAN injection. This is according to sources. Now, NARCAN is an emergency medical treatment commonly used to reverse the life-threatening effects of a suspected overdose, but is also used to reverse acute septic shock in patients, a condition Madonna is said to have suffered. Now, what causes the septic shock, you might ask? Maybe it could have been due to blood pressure, high blood pressure. Because that's what a lot of times that NARCAN can be used for if you have high blood pressure. The injection commonly used in the medical treatment kits of the rich and famous is considered useful to increase blood, like I just said, increase blood pressure in the management of septic shock, a life-threatening condition that happens when blood pressure drops to a dangerously low level. There was nothing at all to suggest the hitmaker needed NARCAN for the ill effects of any drug use. A spokesperson for Madonna had no comment. Now, as RadarOnline.com previously reported, Material Girl singer, who was 64, was intubated for at least one night at a New York hospital before having the two removed. The official explanation has been that a serious bacterial infection put her in intensive care. She has spent days hooked up to a ventilator where her family was told to expect the worst. While Madonna is now alert and surrounded by family and friends while recovering at home, new details about the medical drama have come to light. According to reports, they're saying that her 10-year-old twins, Esther and Stella, who recently graduated from elementary school, were at the family home at the time of the incident. The pop star was reportedly found by an assistant. Madonna had pushed herself so hard to get ready for her 84th date world tour that she had relied upon painkillers to survive, according to sources. She was working overtime, but she clearly burned herself out, and people around her have been politely reminding her that she is not 45 anymore, let alone 25. A source previously said, compared to her younger stars like Taylor Swift and Pink. Now, here's the thing. I don't like the Taylor Swift comparison, because it's like, what exactly is Taylor Swift doing on her tour but walking back and forth with the backing track louder than her actual singing voice, performing for 2 hours? Madonna is doing a whole lot more. If you've seen and ever witnessed a Madonna concert, y'all know what I can't say you'll know what to expect, but you don't know what to expect. You know Madonna's gonna do some high theatrics. We already know that's coming. Pink, basically you get that with her. Pink, currently in doing stadium shows, flying over her audience. I've seen the clips online. But Pink been doing that for years. And Pink can also do that because Pink is what, 42, 43. So Pink is still young and supple enough that she could do all those crazy acrobatics that Madonna was actually doing at Pink's age. When she was doing a Confessions tour. She was in her 40s when she was doing a Confessions tour. And, when she did the Drowned World tour. They said people were trying to tell her to pace herself. Pushing herself so hard was extremely risky. One friend went so far as to express fear Madonna could have ended up like Michael Jackson, who died up in the lead up to his This Is It tour in 2009. Nobody would say it out loud, but there were concerns about another Michael Jackson situation if she doesn't slow down a bit. Now, here's the thing. When you say, I don't want her to end up like Michael Jackson, correct? What the hell you think that means? So when people are running around here saying that, oh, how dare you say Madonna's doing drugs? She would never do such a thing. How the fuck do you know? You don't know this lady? And number one, yes, Madonna has always been someone who has advocated against drugs. But you have to also remember, she has had injuries over the years. She has put her body through a hell of a lot, especially between those tours, the amount of performing that she does on these tours, where we've seen the behind the scenes videos of her tours, the Sticky and Sweet tour, the MDNA tour, all the tours over the years before Madam X, where they've always like, well, Madonna performs basically harder than the dancers half her age. That's always been the thing that they say. She's the hardest working person here. Her situation is being compared to Prince, Michael Jackson, and Whitney Houston. So why are we giving her grace, but y'all was out here calling Whitney all kinds of crackheads and that and the third? And don't get me wrong, I love Madonna. Hello, the shirt. This is actually the shirt that I was going to wear to the tour. My friend Eric Alon made it, by the way. Rick Starr, I believe, is his IG. I mean, not his IG, but I think that's where you can go to buy it. I mean, to get it. I have to look it up. Eric Alon Miami, and it's ricostar.com. So it's RICOSTARR.com. If you want to get that shirt, definitely you could get, if you want to get this shirt, because he advertised it on his website too. So if you guys want to get your hands if you guys want to get your hands on it, because I had to go to Instagram real quick because I wanted to get it right. But yeah, and then I remember I was in a group chat that Robert and I are in, with some Madonna fans called the Rebel Hearts. We were having this conversation. Some people were like, well, don't you think people that she would be surrounded by would actually say something if she was on drugs or if she was doing? No. When you surround yourself with yes people, when you surround yourself with a lot of young people, when you don't have people who truly have your best interests at heart in your inner circle, yes, they're not gonna come on you or say anything. There are people who are intimidated by these big name celebrities or just see you as a dollar sign. And I do believe that Madonna got hooked on painkillers, particularly opioids, around the time when she injured herself. I don't know if we can go as far back as the Confessions tour. Remember when she was promoting the Confessions on the Dance Floor album, she had fallen off a horse and she had the injury and she did the hung up video with a broken arm. So she could have been prescribed the painkillers then, and even incorporated her broken bones during the Confessions tour. I believe it was during the Jump segment. Oh wait, oh no, it was Like a Virgin, because when she got on top of the the saddle with the big pole, and then it had the broken bones and stuff, the X-rays in the background. I had to go back and think of the concert. So it could have been. Oh, and people, you have to realize that when you take prescription medication, you do small doses, little by little by little by little. Some people can handle and be functioning drug users. And then sometimes you got to up the dose. And also you have to realize she's also admitted that she has had problems sleeping. A lot of times when you come off these tours or when you're performing, your adrenaline is so high and so crazy that people have a hard time sleeping. And Madonna said she's always had a hard time sleeping, that sometimes she'll be up all night and she'll go to bed at like 4 or 5 in the morning. Michael Jackson, when he was on tour and he was doing all this other stuff, he was, he had said he had issues sleeping too. So he had a doctor on the road with him, giving him propofol, which I believe is the anesthesia, to help him fall asleep. I remember he was in the throes of an intense rehearsal for This Is It. Before the tour was about to kick off, the man died. So this is the fear that we have, that we don't want Madonna to get caught up in the same situation. That when you have someone like a Prince who is 5'2" and wearing pumps and refused to get surgery, probably due to his beliefs as a Jehovah's Witness, because Morris Day got the same damn surgery and told Prince about it, but Prince wouldn't do it. So he started popping them pills. And look, he ended up dead too. So there's been a whole lot that's been going on in regards to that, and it's unfortunate, but it's just like, I'm hoping that that's not the case. I hope that she doesn't have a pill addiction, but sometimes when you look at it, the evidence is there, like her behavior as of late, how she's been acting on social media. I'm like, that's no rational, like she's been looking a little like droopy and out of it and tired. I don't believe that she was sick with the flu for there's no way in hell a human being is sick with the flu for a month and survived. Your body is not going to, at 64 years old, you're going to sit around with the flu for 30 days? That's virtually impossible. Somebody my age or even younger, we get the flu, we out cold. We're going to pass out or something. And another thing, I heard the NARCAN was in the house. Now, who walks around with NARCAN in their house? Meaning, has this happened before? Like, is this not the first time? Is this not the first time that Madonna has had a situation where she's passed out and somebody's had to administer NARCAN to revive her? So these are general questions that we need to ask. And not only that, but what the hell's going on with the future of this tour? People are still genuinely concerned. We still know nothing. The tour is a week from today, Saturday. Next Saturday kicks off this tour in Canada. We still don't know if the tour is going on. We still don't know her condition. I had heard stories that she was out at the Nassau Coliseum back to rehearsals. I don't even know if that's true. They said one of the dancers posted a picture on social media. They had him immediately take it down. So I don't know what's going on. The fans are still left with their balls in the air, not knowing if there's going to be a tour. Is there a tour? Is there not a tour? I got a hotel, I got a plane ticket, and I got the tour. I got to go see the show. So people, can you get refunds? Like, if they don't know what's going on, they can't plan accordingly. So now people have put so much money into this show, and I think what's gonna happen is the same thing like I said about Kim Zolciak and her damn trifling ass big booty husband. When you fuck with people and you start playing in our faces, you lose the trust of your audience. So if Madonna doesn't come forth and say something and let her fans know what's going on and what's going on with the future of the tour, I think at this point people are not going to trust ever putting money and investing into, you know, seeing her live on stage ever again. I know I wouldn't, because I got a ticket to the show. She's doing 5 dates at Madison Square Garden and 2 later on in, you know, I think in the fall. And this is a week before my birthday. She's doing she was doing the New York dates. And then she's doing, I believe, 2 dates at the Barclays Center. So a total of 7 shows in New York. So the fans just want to know what's going on. Like, let people know what's going on. I know there's a lot of insurance, a lot of red tape, a lot of things going on where we got to figure out the you know, the future of, okay, so there's a lot of things going, you know, all the stuff that she's renting out, like the equipment and the you know, all the set pieces and this, that, and the third, and the crew and the insurance and dealing with Live Nation and renting out all the stadiums and stuff that she's gonna be doing the show at. So there's a lot of stuff going on where I know you got to deal with, okay, canceling, rescheduling, trying to figure out what's going on. I'm hearing people talking about that they may move the tour to 2024. If that happens, I think what Madonna needs to do is, I think she's got to learn that she's got to accept the fact that she is not 24, 34, 44, or 54. She is 64 years old. And your body is not going to be able to withstand the wear and tear that it's been put through throughout all the years you've been alive. All the plastic surgery, the crazy ass Brazilian booty lift that you got that look a hot ass man, look like 2 big ass balloons in the back of your ass. I don't know what needs to happen, but you need to go see Dr. Paul Nassif and go on Botch to get that shit fixed. And I live for you, but the ass look a mess. The constant facelifts and all this other stuff, the need to feel young and maintain your youth, when you just need to just, you know, if you want to get a little Botox, a little whatever filler, that's fine. Just to get rid of little wrinkles, whatever. But trying to still turn back the clock and thinking that you're this youthful thing, that's just not feasible. We're all going to get old. We're all going to die. That's just the way, that's the circle of life, if you want to quote the Lion King. So I really feel like that shit gets her. And on top of that, her dating guys that are in there that are old enough to be her son. And they all old enough to be her damn son, because Rocco was 23. And she's dating 28, 29-year-olds. So I feel like it's a mixture of things. I just think of her not accepting the fact that she's getting older. She's trying to hold, you know, if you're going to put on this extravagant show, yes, you could do that. I was looking forward to the show. But you don't need to be doing crazy choreography. Like, you don't need to be doing all this crazy dancing and shit. You could take the Kylie Minogue approach. Kylie puts on these extravagant, Kylie is like 10 years younger than Madonna. She's always put on these extravagant, you know, stage performances, but she has all the dancers do all the work. I'm gonna just focus on my singing, and I'm stand in my mark, and I could do a little 2-step here and there, but the main focus is I'm the grand dame. I'm giving you a show, and I'm fierce with my little costumes and those other shit. Madonna wants to sit out here and do backflips off of walls and acrobatics and splits and beating up her doppelgangers and all kinds of other stuff. Like, she wants to do all this crazy, having her dance and throw her around the damn stage. I was like, ma'am, you don't need to do all that. You've given us enough. You've proven to us that you're one of the most phenomenal icons in the world. You don't need to prove anything else to us as people. We will love you regardless. You get up on that stage, you do your hits, and release this new album whenever it comes out, and the fans will love you. Just so they're not going to make fun of you if you don't get up there and do crazy choreography. Felix said she said on Jimmy Fallon she likes opiates when she was promoting the Madam X tour that came out. See, now when she says that and she makes y'all thinking she making jokes, there's probably truth in that. But then when we bring it up, oh, why are you trying to put her down? Why are you trying to kick a woman while she's down? Why are you trying to hurt? It's like, no, it's genuine concern. Because as a fan of Madonna's, for as long as I remember, and I still listen to her music, you know, I have quoted the rap to America. I know a lot of people hate that damn song, but I have quoted the lyrics to American Life many times on this show. And I've talked about one of my favorite albums. You know, everybody goes towards Confessions because Confessions is like the big dance record. Yes, it's a cute album. It's not one of my. It is a favorite, but it's not one of my favorites. You know, I love the Ray of Light album. I also love the American Life album because I understand what she was trying to get with that. The message got lost in the sauce, but I get what she was trying to get when what she was getting at when she was putting that record together. And Madonna's also been the type of person that's kind of put me on to a lot of different genres of music because she always experimented with her sound. So she was listening to a lot of the Trickies and the Bjorks and the Massive Attacks. I was into that. So, you know, I think, you know, a lot, and I'm sure, like, well, Robert says her insomnia began after her mother died. So it could be also when you haven't dealt with the traumas of your childhood, a lot of that plays into your adulthood. So like I said before, to wrap this story up, I love Madonna. I'm really hoping that the whole drug thing is not true. Just get her cleaned up. Tell her that she got to slow down. She really needs people in her corner who have her best interests at heart. Get rid of these fucking yes people. They need to say something what's going on with this tour. Because like I said, the tour starts next Saturday. We need to know what's going on with that. I need to know. Shit, I got it. Like I said, I got a ticket to one of the New York shows. So I need to know. And I think the fans who are genuinely concerned, they want to know too. So that way they can plan accordingly. All right, so let's get into this Beyonce story. Then we're going to take ourselves a quick break. So Beyonce fans, speaking of canceled shows and things, so Beyonce fans who bought tickets to her show in Pittsburgh about to be big mad because it's being reported that her tour stop there has been canceled. Now, according to Deadline, Beyonce fans in Pittsburgh will not be seeing the Renaissance tour as originally planned. The concert date that was scheduled for August 3rd has now been canceled, saying due to production logistics and scheduling issues, unfortunately, the August 3rd Pittsburgh stop of the Renaissance World Tour will not be taking place, reads a statement from Acrisure Stadium. The venue said the refunds will be issued automatically at the point of purchase. Fans that had planned to see Beyonce, is that even, I don't know why that don't make sense to me as I'm reading it. Fans that had planned to see Beyonce on September 13th in Seattle will have to wait an extra day. Lumen Field confirmed that the Renaissance tour stop would take place on September 14th due to production logistics and scheduling conflicts. Kansas City was expecting Beyonce on September 18th, but that date has now been postponed until October 1st at Geha Field at Arrowhead Stadium. The reason for the delay was also cited as production logistics and scheduling issues. Her next stop will be in Toronto, where she will be performing on July 8th. Oh, so she started the tour already on the East Coast. July 8th and 9th, her first show in the U.S. with the Renaissance tour. So she did one on Saturday and then Sunday. She's going to do one. Her first show in the U.S. with the Renaissance tour will be July 12th. Well, Toronto's part of North America, so Renaissance tour will be July 12th with a single performance in Philadelphia, followed by Nashville, Louisville. Well, Nashville on July 15th, Louisville on July 17th, Minneapolis on July 20th, Chicago on July 22nd and 23rd, and Detroit on July 26th. And they said the Break My Soul single will hit LA until September, when she stops at SoFi Stadium on September 2nd. And she's doing it. She's performing on the 1st, my birthday, and her birthday, because her birthday is September 4th. 9481 group. I do find it okay. So then, when a friend of mine talked about the Beyonce thing, he said that, I don't know, there was some girl that jumped in the thing and said, "Oh, she didn't cancel it." Then who the fuck did? Because Beyonce name on the marquee. Beyonce decides where the show is going to be and whether or not a show gets delayed or canceled. It's up to the artist. You can't just say, "Oh, the venue did it." Excuse me. Venues don't just abruptly cancel a tour date. It has to be a decision mutually made by Live Nation as well as the artist's camp. It's like Madonna with this tour. You think Guy Osiri gets to make the decision whether or not a tour gets gone or not? At the end of the day, she decides if she's gonna get out there and perform. Now, she could tell him as her manager that he could set things in motion and let people know what needs to be known. But for the most part, she's the one who makes a decision. But they're saying logistics in this, that, and the third. Is it because they didn't anticipate, based on some of the stadiums, on how they would get the equipment in and out? Because her stage is so massive. But then I was looking at some of the tickets, which a friend of mine did also, and a lot of them tickets ain't selling in America, in the United States. So I believe the reason why they're getting refunds is because those tickets weren't really selling. And I saw the blueprint of all the seats sold, and yes, Beyonce's tickets ain't selling like they've been claiming. Now, the part that was selling was where I heard a lot of people said that you need to get tickets, which is the center, because that's where the big stage and everything is. You can see everything. But on the sides and all other stuff, I don't think Beyonce anticipated like the overall design of her stage on how the people could see her. So now it's like majority of people are going, yeah, you're at a Beyonce concert, but you're looking at a giant screen of her rather than you actually seeing all the stuff that's going on. So I think that's what, she's been doing. And plus, I'm going to be honest. I've watched a lot of the concert online. It don't look that exciting to me. Yeah, she keep changing her damn costumes every other night or every night. And yeah, you're doing all this choreography and this, that, and the third. But to me, it's like this Janet tour. I was not that excited when I saw that too. Congratulations for her to make $50 million off this tour. But you would too if you had minimal stage props and only 4 damn dancers with some old dinky looking costumes. You too would make $50 million. She ain't really put much money and effort into this tour. She just gave y'all what y'all wanted. She got out there the same 2-step choreography that she been doing, singing the same damn songs in the same damn key. No kind of different arrangements on the music. So you know what you're gonna get with a Janet concert. And I live for Janet, but I'm just saying she don't never give you nothing different. She does the same thing. She's been doing the same thing in her shows for the past 20 years. Quiet as it's kept. Victor says, hopefully my boo Ricky Martin can get me some tickets to see Beyonce in LA. I know my friend Gio, who I used to work with in the circus, is somebody, he's going to the Beyonce concert. But I think he had a hookup. So a connect, not an actual hookup with somebody to get him. But he had somebody connected him with getting tickets. But anyway, so yeah, I say all this to say there's been a many of factors that have played into it. I believe that it's because it's low ticket sales, and Philly and New Jersey is kind of close to each other. So I would have just did a Jersey show and not Philly, and the people over in Philly could have came over to Jersey and goes. So maybe that's what they're trying to do. Some of y'all who getting y'all tickets refunded, y'all can go and buy tickets and see the Jersey show if y'all still want to see her. But it also seems like she's not doing many dates on this Renaissance tour. Which is another thing I wish Madonna would have did. Just basically just do half of the dates that you would. She's doing 80-something dates, which is crazy. I would have just did 40 dates. Pick a lot of the biggest places over in Europe, like Beyonce did. Do some of the dates. Do some of the big spots in New York, in America. I was gonna say New York. New York is her biggest, New York and LA, they'll definitely come out for her. But I would have just did a show, I would have just picked all the big good spots. And at the end of the day, what I would have did was I would have had them film the damn tour, put it in a DVD. People still, buy DVDs, the hardcore fans. Some of us still have DVD players. I do. I would have did that. And then, took it from there. And sold it, or sold it for a lot of money on what's that damn one of the streaming services, Peacock, since the Madam X tour is there. So good luck, Beyonce. I know y'all want to sit and fake the funk all you want, but it's like, no, it was canceled. Tickets just wasn't selling. It is what it is. So let's take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk about Jennifer Lopez getting dragged for launching the alcohol brand, Darius Jackson being dragged for criticizing his girlfriend Keke Palmer's outfit at an Usher concert. We also got some tea on Will Smith blocking RuPaul from appearing on an episode of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. We got some tea about the Real Housewives of New Jersey, as well as the Real Housewives of Atlanta. Nene Leakes talking about that she has one condition that'll get her to come back to the show. We're also going to talk about Miss Benny throwing shade at a certain Fuller House co-star. We all pretty much figured out who it was, but we're going to talk about that. Blueface, child, the foolishness with him, and Tyra Sanchez getting her ass arrested again. So we're going to take this short break, and we'll be right back with more tea from Chris Avalon Unfiltered. My opinion and carry Annie. Oh, it's Chris Avalon Unfiltered, bitch.
Does that sound like something you want?
Yes.
Well, let me tell you, you'll never
Can't believe we are exposing our kids to drag. Where was the uproar for this episode of The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody? Or all that? How about Victorious? How about this? Or this? This? Or this? How about for this? No uproar for the Powerpuff Girls? I mean, come on. No uproar for the aliens in drag? Or for this? We're just silent on this one? I don't recall the boomers ever complaining about their cartoons. How about for the video game representation of drag? I mean, this whole movie was essentially about a drag king. I don't remember hearing an uproar, though. How about one of the many times that Bart Simpson was in drag? Crickets. Don't recall this one being an issue either. How about the Fairly Odd Parents? Anybody remember that being canceled? For this episode, this wasn't grooming the children? How about the family-friendly musical Hairspray? And girl, don't even get me started on this entire franchise.
Oh shit! What do you think? Fuck it! I like this. I like this. I like this. Cause they about to get busy. I like this. Let's do it right now. 2 different classes, 2 hours. Let's fucking do it.
Que se ven que les gusta la mazacuata.
My opinion and carry Annie. Oh, it's Chris Avalon Unfiltered, bitch. Ooh. Yeah, I'm here to give my opinion and carry Annie. Chris Avalon Unfiltered is back, bitch. Anyway, shout out to the OTA ball. The child, them girls was carrying up in there. When they all was up in there doing pop, where they were pop dipping and spinning and hitting that floor, bitch, I was done. And shout out to production for finding that clip of them two coming out the big old, what was that, the bathroom? Ooh, somebody was getting a non-slug. But you want to know something? That's why I live for these commercials, because this is a cackle and a half while I gather these next stories. Oh no, we're definitely gonna be talking about Miss Benny and Candace Cameron Bure. That is one of the topics that we have coming up. But first, let's get into these topics because we're already 2 hours in. I had a feeling it was gonna be a long ass show because there's so much to get to. And I'm not necessarily sure I'm gonna be able to do a show next week because I'm gonna be going out of town beginning next Friday, I believe. So I'm gonna see if I want to try to do a show next week. I may have to see if I can take my laptop and everything to Maryland, Baltimore. Or we're just gonna have to not do a show. But I know I just run this on production. They did not know. I just said this live. So yeah, they may not be on the show next week, just so y'all know. So that's why we're doing these topics right now. But anyway, let's get into this tea. So Jennifer Lopez is setting the record straight after hopping on IG on July 4th to promote her new alcoholic spritzer, Dalola. She said, we don't have no, just to make sure, we don't have no clips of J-Lo, right? I don't think we do. I don't think she's part of the clip situation that we're doing. Okay, so I'm gonna just read what has been stated. She went on. Okay, so basically what had happened was on July 4th, I was scrolling through social media. I was on Instagram, and I saw that, I was scrolling, and I came across a video of J-Lo, and I actually just got immediately sucked in. It was an 8+ minute video where she was in a car. She was out in Sag Harbor, and she was on her way to a liquor store to find some Dalola because she said that she needed some. I just think she was doing some shameless plug to advertise her drink, and she was like, "I'm hoping that my drink is in the store." And of course, they had a whole shelf full of it. It's like, girl, this was such a stunt. But I live for Jennifer Lopez. If nobody's gonna promote your shit the way you need to, then you might as well do it yourself, right? So she was in the car and she was like, I know a lot of people have been talking about, oh, she doesn't even drink. What's she doing with a cocktail? And this is what she said in a video when she posted on, okay, so it was on Monday, but I happened to, I'm trying to remember if I saw it on, I saw it on July 4th. That's what I saw, which was a Tuesday, but she posted it on Monday. So to tell you the truth, that was true for a long time. I didn't drink because people was like, well, how was she coming out with a drink when she's always been someone who says she doesn't drink? Same thing with Madonna. Madonna's always been somebody who's kind of been against, oh, I don't drink, I don't do drugs, and this, that, and the third. And now all of a sudden we got all these accusations coming out about her. But it's like, yeah, people change. She went on to admit that things have changed, saying pictures of her over the past 10, maybe 15 years have shown that I do enjoy the occasional cocktail, but when it came to finding the perfect boozy beverage, I never found anything that I really loved. And so, like anything else in my life, I created myself, the Grammy nominee said, going on to share that her new cocktail spritzer, brand Dalola, is a healthier way to drink that fits my lifestyle to drink the way that I would drink the way Jennifer drinks. Another point of inspiration for the actor and singer's cocktail brand was for it to embody her vacation fantasies, saying, I always think that being on that boat somewhere for my birthday or relaxing in some beautiful place in the south of Italy, she said, calling to mind her famous Jenny from the Block music video. She explained that her goal with Dalola was to create an aspirational vacation vibe with the flavors. And she also said that she maintains her youthful glow by abstaining from caffeine and alcohol and getting lots of sleep. I've taken care of myself and now it shows. And that's funny because it's like, I don't understand. Of course, we got a picture of her drinking the drink. But it's like, look, I know a lot of people were saying that they didn't like the fact. Also, they thought it was insensitive that she's promoting a drink and she's coming out with a drink knowing her husband, Ben Affleck, has had issues with alcohol in the past, where he's been in and out of rehab. And my thing is this, to quote that song that she sang that was written by Meghan Trainor, she ain't his mama. So Ben is a grown-ass man. He should be in charge of his own stuff. Why do I, as the wife, have to be, I mean, I get it to be like, well, you're not a patient, you don't understand. But it's like, well, why do I have to pay for the fact that my husband has an issue with alcohol and I can't have a drink? I don't know if Ben Affleck still drinks. I don't know if he has an occasional drink or he's able to, or if he doesn't drink at all. But my thing is, okay, you don't drink, but I'm going to have me a drink. And I'm sure they're around people who drink all the time. So whatever that means, and I'm sure she's had the conversation with him. And Ben is somebody I don't think is just overtly saying, like, "Oh my God, you can't drink around me because then I'm gonna want one and I'm gonna get shit faced." And I do think, speaking of shit faced, people was mad at her because she said, "Oh, I don't drink to get shit faced." They felt like it was a dig at him. I feel like y'all are just reaching. Y'all just be trying to find any little situation to try to find a reason to snap at her. And you know, I've said many things about J-Lo in the past over her little sneaky shenanigans and things she's done. But for this situation, I'm like, look, people promote things all the time that they don't 110% stand by. But do I think that J-Lo, whenever she's on vacation or she's having, you know, she's socializing and she's at a party, that she's drinking? Of course she is. She's gonna have a glass of wine, or champagne, or she's gonna, you know, have a drink if she's out with friends or, you know, at a barbecue, whatever the case was. People do all this. People do that all the time. Like with me, I'm at a point in my life, I do not drink to get drunk. So I got what she meant. When I was younger and I ain't know no damn better, I drank to get drunk because I was always in situations where I felt socially awkward and I wanted to loosen up. So I like the idea that she could come out with a drink that, yeah, if I'm walking around and I'm schmoozing with people at a party, some who are friends of mine, some who have brought people there and I don't know and I'm meeting for the first time, I want to be able to have a glass of a low calorie alcoholic beverage when I'm feeling nice throughout the night, but I'm not shit faced. So I totally get that. And yes, people endorse things all the time that they don't necessarily use. But do I think Jennifer Lopez? I do think she drinks. I think that when it comes to certain things, like if she's acting or she's performing on stage and stuff, she is very disciplined in that way. But outside of that, like I said before, if she's having a party, whatever the case is, she's being more responsible with how she consumes alcohol. And plus, she says this drink is low calorie. So, because quite as good, there's a lot of calories in alcohol and drinks. And look, she's in her 50s. She still looks youthful. So I just see this as a non-issue. And like I said, if there's any issues with her and banning the whole alcohol situation, I'm sure he works it out with his sober coach, sponsor, or whoever it is. And she supports him in other ways. But to stop someone else's... And look, we all know Brandy. We all know J-Lo is a capitalist. So any other opportunity where Benny Medina is going to find a way to squeeze more juice out of a lemon and jump into a whole new branding thing for her to make money, she's going to do it. She's worth $400 million from all her little endeavors. So her side deals and the acting and the music and all that other stuff. So I'm Team J-Lo on this. Okay, so let's move on to the next topic, which is Keke Palmer's baby father, who is being dragged for trying to police her body. So Black Twitter wasted no time gathering Darius Jackson all the way together after he took it upon himself to go on social media and openly criticize his girlfriend, Keke Palmer's outfit she wore to Usher's Vegas residency. Now, Keke Palmer spent her July 4th amid the glitz and glamour of Usher's upcoming Las Vegas residency, where she set social media alight. I said alight with footage of her spirited participation. However, that star's boyfriend, Darius Jackson, appeared less than thrilled about the event. Now, on Twitter, R&B Radar reshared a fan-recorded video that saw Palmer's enthusiastically hugging and dancing with Usher during a rendition of There Goes My Baby. A now-deleted account that allegedly belonged to Jackson, quote, tweeted the clip with the remark, "It's the outfit, though. You a mom." Seemingly undeterred by the controversy, Palmer shared a series of photos from the concert on Instagram on Wednesday, July 5th. Her caption enthusiastically endorsed Usher's performance while subtly sidestepping any mention of the ongoing Twitter debate. I am telling y'all right now, if you ever see Usher, you must go. She added, "Giving theater, Atlanta down, tips and tricks, and just absolutely iconic. I was truly inspired as a performer. I whooped some ass in spades too. Where is that pic of us all together with the king himself?" Usher took to the comments to thank Keke for coming. Basically said, "The big boss, thank you for coming." Meanwhile, Darius has deleted his Twitter account. But I also heard what had happened was he brought the he brought the thing back. He brought his Instagram back, right? But he scrubbed any pictures of Keke off his Instagram. So it's just him and the baby. And plus there's pictures of him half naked all over his Instagram. So I don't know how you gonna tell her how to dress, but you out here being half naked your damn self. And ain't he a personal trainer? Anyway, so I know we have a clip. So we're gonna play that clip. And then you know, we'll come back with more of the show. But my thing with him is this. It's like, you only have one damn job. You should just babysit, mind the business that pays you, and just eat Keke coochie when she needs you to. That's all. See, look, and this is one of his little Instagram pictures. He up there half damn naked. And I've heard before that he has co-signed on scantily clad outfits that Keke has worn in the past. And I'm sure when he met her, she was wearing clothes where her boobs was up and sitting pretty, and the booty cheeks was hanging. So I don't understand. And I know people, well, he's validating his feelings. He should be allowed to feel the way he feels. That is true. He is allowed to feel how he feels. No one's denying that. The fact of the matter is, why take it to social media? He should have took this behind the scenes and addressed her when she got home. Like, what was you doing? Why you wearing that? But then again, who is he to try to tell her what she can and cannot dress? She's a young girl, especially they're not even married. You ain't put a ring on her finger, but you gave her a baby. And now with you scrubbing her pictures from your Instagram, it seems like you done with her and you broke up with her. So basically what it says at the bottom in the lower third, what happens next? Are they done? Is he done with her? Now you're stuck with a baby between the both of you. So yeah, the relationship may be done. I'm saying may because I don't know if it's confirmed or not. But what does the future hold for these two? Because now I feel like this is giving insecurity. Because if he is co-signed on her wearing sexy outfits out and about before and has been in the room when she's worn sexy outfits to certain events and this, that, and the third, and he's been on her arm, then why now? I think he was intimidated by Usher. Usher ain't thinking about Keke in that way. Usher is a showman. Usher is performing. He is giving you a show, and he's being the big crooner serenading the girl. He's playing the part. Usher got 4 kids and a whole nother wife. That's J-Lo. Usher ain't thinking about Keke in that way. This is somebody who is not in her tax age and financial bracket, who is feeling insecure. And that happens a lot when you get somebody who is a bigger breadwinner than you, and you're someone who's just a personal trainer. And I'm not knocking his job. If you got a job and it pays your bills, I'm here for it. But sometimes people get in their head that when you're someone who has got like a regular job, be it, working in a corporate office or being a personal trainer, and you're dating someone who is an actor, let's throw a number out there. I don't know how much Keke Palmer's worth, but let's say she's worth $40 million. And she knows all these famous people, and she's hanging out with all these famous people. She's getting serenaded by a world famous R&B singer. You're gonna feel a kind of way, because like, what can I provide you? How can I measure up? And a lot of people get in that way when it comes to their relationship. They feel insecure within their relationship. This is why this needs to be discussed in the beginning. Or some people have a hard time when you're a regular person marrying or dating someone who was wealthier than you. But then again, sometimes it works. Julia Roberts and her current husband. Did she marry the guy that was used to be a cameraman? I forgot his name. But there's some people who have married regular people and have made it work. Or been in relationships with regular people and have made it work. Sometimes it works. Not as often as we would think, but sometimes it works. So I'm curious. I don't know what's going to happen with this relationship, but I don't know. I don't see it lasting. Him being insecure and shit. So Mike Diddy 87 said, put some clothes on. Why you so naked on IG looking like a great value EBT OnlyFans model? You're embarrassing your family. I thought you was a father, remember? And they put Bussy in red letters on his picture. So a lot of people was harassing him with the, you a father, put some clothes on. Then Blissful Renee posted on social media, I think it was Twitter. It said things that Black Twitter have found out about Keke Palmer's baby daddy, Darius, in the past couple of hours, like slut-shaming tweets, excuse me, being a conservative, tweeting about DV, I guess domestic violence, liked a JM post, that's Janelle Monáe, tweeted about Alton Sterling, made a previous girl get an abortion, allegedly. So the Alton Sterling thing became because, I think that was when he didn't comply with the police. And they were like, oh, you should just listen to the cops. You should just comply. Well, we all know, those of us who live on this planet, know that's not how it works. You can do all the things that the police tell you to do, but they're still going to try to find a reason to throw you down on the ground and shoot your ass. We've seen this play out many a times. But I guess when you want to act light-skinned on social media, this is the result. So now Darius would just sat there and just been pretty and minded the business that pays him, he wouldn't be in the situation he's in. But now, you start fucking with Miss Palmer, my Virgo sister, what's going to happen? Everybody going to come out the woodwork and dig up some shit on you, and now they on your neck with the T and not going to let up. Because you don't do Keke like that. Victor says she is worth about $8 million. I know, I just threw a number out there. Because it's like $8 million is still more than what he got in the bank. But I get the, what you're saying. Felix says, oh, another thing I heard about Threads is anyone you blocked on Instagram is accessible again, meaning they can contact you again. Yeah, I saw somebody mention, I don't remember who that was. I don't know who said that, but I did hear that. And then Robert says, actually, you block on Instagram, they can't find you. They're blocked on Threads. So now I'm hearing conflicting report, because I did hear something where they said that when you jump over on Threads, that the people that you blocked on Instagram can find you over there. Well, I already told you, I'm not jumping on anything until I find out what's going on with that, because I already said in the beginning, when Meta did what they did with the whole Threads thing, where they created Threads, I said, first thing I said before they even launched it, and I knew it was coming, because I had wrote an article on it months ago, like maybe 2 months ago, there was an article I wrote that Mark Zuckerberg was looking to launch his own version of Twitter in the summer. Didn't have a name yet, didn't know when they was going to do it, but they said it was going to be in the summertime. And I said, I have a feel I'm not going to join it because I know it's not going to be like Twitter, meaning I don't need to be like what Elon Musk is doing with Twitter now. I don't need y'all cussing, or not even cussing because I cuss, but I don't need y'all being like the radical right crazy people that's on there with their racism and all that other craziness and bullying people. That's not the problem I'm talking about. I'm talking about the sex and the nudes and things, which people pretty much use Twitter for anyway. You can't post stuff on there like that. So it's very conservative, and policing of words and things that you say and do and things you post, like Instagram or Facebook. So why would I want to join another Meta app that does that? I ain't doing it. And then I heard about the other one. So I was like, no, I'm not doing it right now. So let's get into this Real Housewives of New Jersey tea. So it looks like Teresa Giudice didn't get her wish, because word on the street is that the entire cast are returning for It said including sister-in-law Melissa Gorga and estranged brother Joe, and will begin shooting season 14 in August. Now, a major cast shakeup was predicted for the Real Housewives of New Jersey after Teresa Giudice and Melissa Gorga's latest falling out, but various reports from July 6, 2023 claim that the entire cast was invited back for season 14. Bravo brought in some new housewives for season 13, and while most of the drama still focused on the Giudice-Gorga family troubles, the new reports say that those ladies will be back too, even the friends of the cast, Jackie Goldschneider and Jennifer Fessler. The past few seasons of Real Housewives of New Jersey have filmed over the summer, but that won't be the case for season 14, while a prior report said the reality show would be put on pause because of the Teresa-Melissa war. Andy Cohen said that's not true. Plus, all about the Real Housewives and People, all about the Real Housewives that is very pro-Teresa, and People, which both reported the casting news, claimed the show will resume filming in August. So if viewers are lucky, they'll get to see the ladies celebrate the holidays. Even so, fans are continuing to speculate about what's next for the Garden State franchise. Here's the latest updates on season 14 of Real Housewives of New Jersey. Saying Bravo has not announced the premiere date. The past 3 seasons have filmed over the summer, premiered in February, and concluded in May or June. However, that schedule will likely change since production on season 14 has been pushed back a bit. Since filming commences in August, fans probably won't see Real Housewives of New Jersey season 14 on the air until sometime in the first half of 2024. So yes, all about the Real Housewives and People did report on this month actually that the entire cast is coming back. No contracts have gone out, but filming for season 14 is set to begin in August. I also heard that they're trying to get a lot of the girls to fill out or sign up to premiere at BravoCon, which is now going to be in Vegas and not in New York at the Javits Center. I'm thinking the Javits Center must be really expensive that y'all had your cons there for a couple of years, and now they're moving it to a new location. Because they did the same thing with DragCon. DragCon was at the Jacob Javits Center. I went on the last one that they had, which was 2019. That's when they stopped having it. And then now it's in, on the West Coast full time. If y'all saw Victor Yates, if you go on his YouTube, he did a whole thing on, this year's DragCon back in May, where he talked to a lot of the queens and got a lot of footage and stuff. So, excuse me. But yeah, so now I heard they're trying to get the entire cast to sign contracts so that way they can show up at BravoCon, whenever that airs. I think it's in November. But it's funny because they're saying that the whole cast is coming back and that Jackie Goldschneider is coming back. But I heard Jackie was fired and Jen Fessler is now going to be a full-time housewife because people liked her. People liked her oversharing when she talked about she had sex with James Gandolfini. And that I believe her mother was good friends with, I forgot who was the famous person that she said that they were friends with. But for the most part, it's like, look, I know they had the big fight at the reunion. The reunion was a hot ass mess. It was hard to get into what was going on because it was so many side conversations happening, so many distractions. Teresa and Melissa going back and forth the whole damn thing. Teresa wouldn't let Melissa get a word in edgewise. Melissa was so focused on trying to throw out her infamous one-liners. Now she got the one-liners on bags that she's selling in Envy. So there was a lot of that going on. We didn't get into the other stuff, like especially when Melissa was on the podcast talking about, Teresa's children and bringing that into it. And then we had recently Melania, I believe, was on Teresa's Namaste Bitches podcast, praising Louis. He's a great stepfather and this and the other. In my opinion, I don't like when people bring kids into anything. I feel like y'all need to let kids be kids, even though they get to be a part of the TV show and all the other stuff. I do feel like y'all need to leave the kids out of y'all drama and just focus on y'all. Oh, bitch, well, fill me in. He said, thanks for the shout out. DragCon was cute, but I wish I could have posted about the real shows in the bathrooms. Oh, the gays was carrying. I know that was what was going on. But for the most part, it's like, okay, so now if the whole cast is coming back, it's like, where do we go from here? If y'all gonna come back, I need some real shit to go down. I really need producers and stuff to stop kissing the Gorga's ass. Everybody's gonna get on both sides. I like watching the show and stuff, but the Gorgas have to have a storyline outside of just fighting with Teresa. All these accusations coming out of where Joe owes people money, and there's people coming out of the woodwork spilling all this tea that's popping up on a couple of the blogs and a couple of these other, podcasts and this, that, and the third. I feel like this shit needs to be addressed. Stop kissing and playing favorites and stuff. And that's what the people are saying. They feel like y'all are paying favorites with certain people on this show. And so if we're gonna get into Teresa's stuff and what's going on and ask about, Bo Deedle and all this other mess, what needs to happen is that we need to get into everybody's ass on the show. These reality stars should not be in control of trying to tell us what we can and cannot talk about on these shows when they're getting paid hundreds of thousands or millions, close to $1 million a season to put their personal business on TV. And that's what needs to happen with these shows. We need more than just Teresa and Melissa fighting, because if there's another season we're going in with Teresa and Melissa is fighting and Teresa's fighting with Joe and you broke up the family, and if this is another season of that, I'm checking out. Like I checked out with Real Housewives of Atlanta. These girls is not bringing it this season either. I only watched 2 episodes of this season and I'm done. I can't. I may just jump in for the reunion, but for the most part, I need more from my Jersey girls. Margaret, even though you love to hate her, she brings the drama when it comes to, picking fights and things and going for the jugular. I know it's like mean-spirited and stuff in real life, but I'm entertained by it because it's a reality show. We're supposed to be entertained, right? So yeah, there's basically saying that Jackie was demoted from full-time housewife to a friend of for season 13. Jackie told Hollywood Life exclusively on the Pay Attention Police podcast. Oh, I just love that because that's Danielle's line. That she'd be happy to continue doing the show. She said, if they ask me, no matter what role they ask me, I will come back. She said in the April 14th interview, I love the show, I really do. This season I had a great experience. I wouldn't mind coming back full-time. I wouldn't mind coming back as a friend. I'm not going to push for either one. Whatever happens, happens. So, like I said, Andy Cohen pushed back on the pause rumors saying that it is coming back. He appeared on Kelly Ripa's Let's Talk Off Camera podcast and said New Jersey is at a crossroads and there are several options on how they can move forward with the franchise. And yeah, that's what they said. They said, now I'm hearing conflicting reports because they said that Melissa Gorga's future with the show hangs in the balance. Jen Fessler will be back next season full-time and Jackie Goldsteiner has been let go. And they said on July 4th, the U.S. Sun said that because Jen was a hit with fans during her season 13 debut, she'll be back for season 14 while Jackie will not. Saying she doesn't bring much to the table, the source said of Jackie, who initially joined the show back in 2018 for season 9. As for Melissa, the insider said she could be on the chopping block because Real Housewives of New Jersey is Teresa's show. And here's the thing, they're saying that if there's no Teresa, there's no show. And that's y'all damn fault because y'all put it y'all made it so that this show cannot exist without Teresa. I keep saying this before, like I said before, how this happened is because you all went and made it like, because when Teresa went to prison, which was the federal prison, what had happened was y'all were like, oh, let's pause the season so that when Teresa gets out of jail, we could film her coming out of prison, all the other stuff, which made great TV, by the way, because we got to capture a moment in time. So when that happens, what do you expect? So when you put that out there, oh, this show can't exist without me. They would have to do a complete reboot like they did with New York if they can't come to a compromise and work it on out. And here's the thing. So if what the reports are saying is true, the entire cast is coming out, Teresa and Melissa will have to learn how to get along. Because the ratings have never been this high since this past season. So with the ratings being what it is, y'all can't be like, oh, well, I'm not going to film with that person anymore. There's a lot of money at stake. And the network's going to be like, oh, no, you're not going to have, y'all don't control this. We control this. Hey, Lindsay girl, she said the show still circles around her. She does give up her life and she does bring the crazy. Well, like I said, these girls would bring it next season. If they don't, I'm checking out. So if all the entire cast, according to the report, People Magazine, All About the Real Housewives, is saying that the entire cast is coming back. I even heard Kim D said she had a feeling that the whole cast is coming back. She don't have any recollection of this is true, but she says I have a gut feeling. I have a gut feeling too. I believe that the entire cast is coming back. It's because it was like this was last season with all the drama that was going on. It was a pretty good season. And I do think they need to bring all the women back. And here's the thing, because Damon said this about when I watched the Alison Dubois interview when she was talking about the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills cast. She says, outside this show, I know they don't all hang out. They don't get along. They hate each other. This is all just them being in a room, and you get, the show has a specific formula. You basically come in there, you get set up on some fake scenario at a restaurant. Y'all sit and bitch and moan and talk about each other like dogs and confront each other on stuff. And that's what the show is about. But if any one of them were to get fired, you know they're not hanging out with them. You know they're not going to be friends in this, that, and the third. I believe that with Beverly Hills, and a damn sure believe it with Jersey. I do believe if any of those women were to be fired, none of them would be hanging out with Teresa, including Jen Aiden. I do not believe Jen Aiden would hang out with Teresa either. I believe Jen Aiden's got her lips like the human centipede prior to Teresa's ass, because she knows by being on her side, it keeps her going with the show. Now, she do got a storyline too with her crazy ass husband, like being in the back, you know, the house in the back, the pool house, and the whole affair and all that drama. But besides that, her and Dolores, they know by attaching themselves to Teresa, they got a storyline. They can keep going with the show. They know what side they bread is buttered. But I do believe that at the end of the day, if all those women were to be fired tomorrow, they would not be hanging out. You would not see their ass hanging out. This is all for show. So I'll keep you guys abreast of the story as it develops. We'll find out if this is true, if they start filming in August, when the show allegedly starts filming. Now, let's go from New Jersey and take a trip to Atlanta, because Nene Leakes revealed if she's open to returning to the Real Housewives of Atlanta. Now, shout out to Ace Showbiz for this story. It says Nene Leakes' return to the Real Housewives of Atlanta is something that fans have always been waiting for. In a new interview, the TV personality was asked if she'd be open to returning to the Bravo TV series after her exit in September 2020. Now, I know we have a clip. I beat production to it because the production be like, clip, like Dorinda, clip. So yeah, this is from TMZ. So TMZ stopped Lenethia Monique Leakes and asked her, because you know, if the popular series needs her and that trifling ass scam artist Kim Zolciak, if they need them back on the show. And you already know what I said about Kim, because I talked about Kim and that fake ass whole breakup divorce situation with Croy earlier in the show. So let's roll that clip and then I'll give my opinion.
Kim and Nene back on the show. A lot of people would say you guys are the show. You guys are brought so much funniness to it.
Well, I would just say check the ratings.
Yeah, check the ratings. She said more than that. But who was interviewing her? Misha Lay? I'm like, damn, who high ass voice is that? She said that should basically, when she was asked to elaborate on you, I would say check the ratings. She said that should give you an answer. Now, during the interview, the 55-year-old star suggested that she's ready to return to the show if that's what the fans want. She said, the fans are the ones that love me. They're the ones who love to see me in that position, and I would do anything for them. After the Shade Room reported the news on its page, Nene's former co-stars Portia Williams showed love to her, saying she is the show. She said, adding a heart emoji. Portia, who also exited Real Housewives of Atlanta, additionally left a gif of Nene saying, I said what I said. Oh, I love using that gif a lot. Now, fans did agree with Horsha on one thing. She said she started, let her finish it. It's definitely a different show without her and Horsha. Another fan said, let's be honest, Real Housewives of Atlanta is the show that Nene built and paved the way for more franchises. She may have sued them and all, but if they know what's good for them, they'll swallow their pride, make things right, and bring her back. Child, now you don't know Andy, vindictive ass. ain't no way in hell that they're allowing Nene to come back. Now here's the gag. I don't know how y'all refuse to bring Nene back, but word on the street is Vicky Gumbelson problematic ass is coming back for next season's Orange County. Now I don't know how you're willing to bring her COVID denying ass back on the show, but Nene Leakes can't come back. Lindsay said, I love Nene, but what she said was an excuse to buzz her name around Atlanta. The fans always wanted her back. When she had the whole drama with Bravo/Andy, the fans wanted her back, and she said no. Now that she has issues with her business and the coin's not coming in. Ooh, well, you said it, not me, but I'm channeling Lindsay because she, my antenna is coming through her spirit and she's typing it for me. Because this is all the shit I was thinking. Now that she has issues with her business and the coins not coming, she doesn't want to sound like she's thirsty to come back, so she's using the fans as an excuse. But to be clear, I want her back myself. She's the true queen. Agreed. Vicky has come back because she keeps coming back. Nene wasn't doing anything, not even the spinoffs. Well, here's the thing. I agree that Nene is probably buzzing, but the quiet as is kept, I feel like they all need money and they all come running back to Bravo at the end of the day. Nene burned her bridge. Like, I don't understand why Nene didn't capitalize on her hype as one of the biggest girls on that network at the time. But I guess she thought being on Ryan Murphy's shitty ass shows that was going to be enough for her to get accolades and attention and the love and all that other stuff, but it just didn't work that way. She should have been, she should have been squeezing all the milk out the goddamn cow. So at this point, like, yeah, why Bravo is not gonna make it, and Andy is not gonna swallow their pride over some damn Nene Leakes because she accused them of being racist. We already had the conversation at the beginning of the show about Andy being at the gay club and having a little brown boy on his lap while he playing with his nipples, and how people already feel about how he, I guess, loves to hunch people of color, but don't understand the nuances of what it's like to be a person of color, because we've seen him play out when he does these reunions from Potomac and Atlanta. And at the time when he backpedaled and pussy popped during the season when what the hell's her damn, when Kim Zoe said, when Wig came on with her husband and she was playing the victim during Roachgate, when she said that there was a roach in Nene's bathroom, and then all the girls pretty much ganged up on Wig that season, and she went in the bathroom and decided to play victim and had Andy come up in there because, they all speak honky. That's me channeling Chichi Rodriguez. You speak honky. So they all speak in their language or whatever, and then and she's thinking, oh, you're white and I'm white and my husband white. First of all, and I already talked about the whole thing, why Big Booty Judy got a damn gun with him at the reunion. So Nene really did not capitalize on making her mark in the thing. I said she should have did a podcast. She should do a podcast like Bethany, recapping all the old episodes, watch all the old episodes of Atlanta and giving her take on it. Somebody said, oh, probably because it's a licensing thing. I'm like, I'm sure Bethany did not have to ask permission or license to look at old episodes of the Housewives and do a whole podcast on it of New York City. So I definitely could see Nene doing that. Nene has to figure out other ways in which she could, if Bravo don't want her back, how she could find ways around milking the Atlanta Housewives cow. She has to figure out how to do that, but I don't think she's really good at the whole branding thing. So I don't think that has anything, like Lindsay said, she definitely did not need permission. So if Bethany could run around here taking everybody damn side with stuff and doing videos on, watching old episodes of Real Housewives of New York and giving her opinion on it, Nene can do the same thing. Trust and believe, people will tune in. And she could do like some super chats or whatever and make a coin. Because her little businesses ain't doing all that. So good luck to you, but I don't see I don't see that Nene is coming back to the Housewives. I don't see how she's gonna rebuild that whole, like we've seen now crazier things have happened. We have seen people who have talked down in the dirt can't stand each other, but for the sake of ratings, they'll bring it back. And I, like I said before, I have not been watching this season of The Real Housewives of Atlanta. I watched the first 2 or 3 episodes and I was like, this shit is boring, and I checked out. I'll probably tune in for the reunion because, you know, they'll compile everything up in one big bowl of stew. But at this point, the season is boring. I just feel like this whole format needs a whole makeover, because I just feel like maybe people are just getting tired of this old tired ass Housewives format. It's time to reboot and rejudge and kind of change things up. The fact that these 2 past seasons were trash, there can be a way to bring Nene back. She might have to do like a public apology. I need, Robert says, I need the sisters to actually do a real fight. I mean, at this point, if security isn't being pulled up, it's scripted feud. Wait, who are we talking about? And eat a little humble pie. She might even use Horsha in the sense of it will ask her back, when Horsha might be like, I'll come back if you bring Nene. Boom, that's how she will come. Oh, okay. Well, we'll see that. I'm gonna see how that works out, but I don't know. I just feel like Andy is stubborn as hell and is not willing to bite the bullet and let things go. Look, Lisa Rinna done bounced back. She did American Horror Stories. So she's out, you know, making her little coins and things. But anyway, let's move on because we got like 4 more topics left and we're almost at 3 hours. All right, so let's talk about Miss Benny, child. Now, I don't know if it's fine. You know, I'm reading the comments. Now, Miss Benny, who I don't know if y'all been watching the new show that she is currently on, Glamorous, on I was almost at MTV, Netflix, with Kim Cattrall. And it's funny how I've heard people say, I'm glad Kim Cattrall came back to Sex and the City because her show is the things she's done is fail. I'm like, who said that? In the words of Portia, who said that? Because her shit ain't fail. Kim Cattrall is an actress. She's been doing guest appearances and popping up on this show, that show, and other show, which is what actors do. The ones who really out here struggling to get a job is SJP and the one that plays Charlotte. You don't never see them in anything. Now, Cynthia Nixon definitely been out here doing other parts and going over to the UK to be doing stuff. So Cynthia Nixon has been getting the gigs. Cynthia Nixon and Kim Cattrall, the only 2 from Sex and the City that have had gigs, steady jobs since Sex and the City has been off. SJP and Charlotte need the show. That's no shade. I'm just saying. So we'll get to the clip in a second, but let me set it up. So Miss Benny, who I absolutely love, and I didn't know Miss Benny as an actor. I knew Miss Benny because I listened to Miss Benny's music. You know, I listen to a lot of out music, so that's why I was familiar with Miss Benny. But then when I heard that she was out here acting, and so I was like, oh, so she an actress too. Okay, sis. So Ms. Benny recently posted a TikTok alleging that one of her former Fuller House co-stars tried to have the queer character she was playing at the time removed from the show. Now, when Ms. Benny didn't name names, based on a certain actor's history regarding her religious beliefs, even Helen Keller could tell you she was talking about Candace Cameron Bure. Now, for those of you who didn't watch the show, Benny played the character Casey, a gay friend of grown-up Kimmy Gibbler's teenage daughter, and the first openly gay character in Fuller House franchise history. Benny, who now stars in the new Netflix show Glamorous, recently came out as transgender. So, what I want to do is I want to play the TikTok of her, what she said. Well, she said only one of the 10 assistants actually came up and spoke to her. So we know that was Jodie Sweetin, because I've always heard in the past that Jodie Sweetin has always been very pro-LGBT, that she's very friendly and stuff. So we know Candace crazy ass, you know, she likes to be she's the subtle Cameron, which is she'll like you and smile in your face, but talk and call you all kinds of faggot behind your back. Now, Kurt, on the other hand, you know, he's very vocal about how he don't like the gays. and writing books and stuff where, you know, he's very anti-gay and want to read them in libraries. So we know which one is the more radical, crazy one, and which one is the little sneaky one. And she the sneaky one. Because, you know, I didn't like her ass when she was on The View. And I did go on one episode of The View when she was there. Her and Raven-Symoné. And I still ain't off her ass about the time when she treated Danny Pitaro and she went in on him and treated him like shit. Remember Jonathan from Who's the Boss? And also he recently did a play out in LA, which had to be postponed because one of the actors on the show got sick. But he was in it. Mario Diaz was in it. Jackie Beat. They did a whole Who's the Boss parody play out in LA, and I know they had to postpone it. Danny Pitaro was in it. And, you know, he's HIV positive and was smoking meth and being promiscuous and that and the third. And the way she did him on that episode of The View, that still got me tight to this day. So, without further ado, let's play this clip of Miss Benny talking about her experience on Fuller House.
So yes, I was on Fuller House. I played Casey, the first gay character in the Full House franchise. One of the Tanner sisters is like very publicly not for the girls, if that makes sense. I remember I got sat down by the writers and the studio to basically warn me how this person allegedly was trying to get the character removed and not have a queer character on the show. I was also warned and prepared that this person's fan base might be encouraged to target me specifically. The fact that this teenage actor who's coming in to make jokes about wearing like a scarf is suddenly like a target from an adult is like crazy to me. So to this day, despite working on the show every day for 2 weeks straight, I have only had a conversation with one of the Tanner sisters. The positive is that I had a really fun time actually shooting the show with all the other actors who were willing to talk to me. And the show ultimately led to me being on Glamorous on Netflix. So everything happens for a reason. Continuously blows my mind how queer people, specifically queer young adults and queer children, are being targeted and having to advocate for themselves against adults.
I must say, I'm loving all the effects that we got on this show with the video clips. Yes, bitch. Come on now. But yeah, so Miss Benny, when I first heard this story, I was like, I totally believe her. I don't see that there was a reason that she would need to lie. I mean, didn't JoJo Siwa come out and said she had a bad experience when she met when she met Candace, and Candace denied it? She also had a bad experience with Colleen Ballinger too, but that's a whole nother story for a whole nother time, child. But then also, let me also preface this by saying that Candace did go on and release a statement to people. See, now let me reiterate by saying no name was mentioned. She ain't say which Tanner sister. However, Candace immediately knew her ass was guilty and came out and sent a whole statement to people. So, bitch, a hit dog will holler clearly in this situation. She said, I never asked Miss Benny's character to be removed from Fuller House and did not ask the writers, producers, or studio executives to not have queer characters on the show. Fuller House has always welcomed a wide range of characters. I thought Miss Benny did a great job as Casey on the show. We did share any scenes together, so probably because you requested that you not do a scene with another gay person on TV, because then that would mean you would co-sign it. We didn't share any scenes together, so we didn't get a chance to talk much while filming on set. I wish Miss Benny only the best. When, like I said in my previous story, Candace could deny all she want, but my thing is this: if she didn't hesitate to leave the Hallmark Channel in November and said that neither she nor her new Great American Family Network would support same-sex content on their channel, this is the shit she said in the statement. Now, why the hell would we believe that she wouldn't try to keep a Full House, you know, as wholesome as possible, and not have any LGBTQ characters want to be on the show or her being associated with anybody LGBT? Because to do that, you have to actually admit that gay people exist and that we're not an abomination. So I am team Miss Benny on this. Candace basically, you know, she basically was like, I'm done with Hallmark because Hallmark was going into a direction of inclusion. You know, Lifetime started doing more, started incorporating more stories featuring Black people. Like Mary J. Blige had freaking movies of the week based off of her songs. Hallmark started getting into business of more LGBT inclusive stories. So you're seeing more romance and Hallmark Channel type Christmas movies and the other featuring gay characters. She didn't want that. So that's why she went to the other network. With the Great American Family Network. So she, like anything, she full of shit. Like I said, she the subtle one. She'll sit up and smile in your face and try to act like she's all including. She love everybody because she gotta get that face and make that face beating that head dead. So she gonna hate the gays behind your back, but love them to your face. The brother don't give a damn. Kirk ain't out here using Hollywood and acting. He's doing all his little crazy church shit, you know, over there. He don't need Hollywood. She do. Or her version of it. But yeah, she's crazy. And so are the people that follow her. But anyway, good luck to you, Miss Benny. I know you're doing a great job over on Glamorous. Looking forward to, I don't know if there's going to be a season 2. I'm sure there will be. I like Glamorous because it reminds, I know some people say, oh, it's very much like The Devil Wears Prada. I get more Ugly Betty. Like that, it looked like a damn ripoff of Ugly Betty, just with different like Gen Zers swapped out for the cast that I grew up watching on that show. I like Jonathan Bennett. I didn't particularly like his man on that show with Todrick, but I like Jonathan Bennett. Okay, so let's move on to the next story, which is, let's get into this Blueface story. Now, let me take a moment and muster the brain cells I got left to try to get into this story and make it make sense, because normally I don't like talking about Blueface. I don't like people like him. I just think they're fucking idiots. I know my sister who watches my TikToks when I post these clips on my TikTok. She's like, you should do a video on Krishan and Blueface. I'm like, why the hell would I do a video on them? I don't even like them. I just don't try to promote ignorance of this, that, and the third when it's talking about doing a show. But when you do something that's kind of in my wheelhouse, I'm talking about LGBT or whatever the case is, something I can relate to, then it's like, okay, let's get into the conversation. Because this is dumb shit right here. Like, how low can you stoop? Talk about this fool or where he went with this. So, and I've said this about people like Blueface. People like him should not be allowed to procreate. So rapper, if you want to call him that, and bottom of the barrel reality star Blueface is being slammed for questioning his 6-year-old son's sexual orientation because he ignored the strippers his father brought in the house. So what happened was, if y'all didn't know, there's a video I saw online. It's on my website if y'all want to see it. I'm not going to post it on here because it's like, I'm not going to feed into the ignorance, or get people even more pissed than I already am. But there's a part where Blueface goes live. You see a bunch of strippers in the house. One of the girls looked like she need to go down to Mexico and get herself a Brazilian butt lift because it looked like she had some cottage cheese on that ass. But maybe he got her for cheap. And so he's going looking for the son. And the son is in the pantry. Now, the most embarrassing part, and this is the funny part about Blueface, he felt he was comfortable enough to film the pantry that barely had food in it. Now, how you supposed to be this person with all this money and this and the third? You got an empty ass pantry. Boy, 6 years old, starving, looking for some Slim Jims because he's hungry. And you want to ask him if he gay. So this is what he said. It's booty cheeks out here. You over here looking for chips and Slim Jims and shit. And the little boy says, I love Slim Jims. He goes, you ain't gay, is you? The child seemed slightly confused by the question, so Blueface asked him multiple times until the boy said no. My man, before giving the kid a dap. Now, a lot of people dragged his ass. And there was another clip that he posted, which was even worse, where it shows him addressing his son again and some other kids. And he said this. Y'all sit right here while I go fondle with these young women for a while, alright? And he's been in the Blueface. He's been in the hot seat since then. But before I go and read y'all the tweets of what people said, let me drag this motherfucker. See, this is the part where you get Child Protective Services involved. Because why hasn't people looked at this as this is clearly an issue? A grown-ass man, why are you, as a grown-ass man, asking a 6-year-old, is he gay? 6-year-olds ain't thinking about no damn dick. When I was 6 years old, all I cared about was my little action figures, watching Transformers and G.I. Joe, and eating candy. That's all I cared about. I wasn't thinking about no penis and no sex. I wanted some candy. I wanted some toys to play with. My little trucks and all that other stuff. My Transformers, my Voltron, my G.I. Joes, all of that stuff. I wasn't thinking about sex at 6. Most kids aren't, unless you've been touched inappropriately, which a lot of people do. And the thing that irritates me about this shit is that y'all run out here, those of you guilty, I'm not saying all of y'all, but those of y'all who feel the kind of way. Y'all run around here talking about that drag queens are grooming your kids, that gay people out here trying to recruit your children and turn them gay because you see 2 gay characters in a cartoon on a TV show or whatever, like a Fuller House, when gays are a part of life. The thing about gay people, we just want a place where we get to see ourselves represented. That's all we want. We want to show that, yes, we exist in this world, and we want to see that representation. When gay kids who are still coming to grips with who they are see themselves represented on shows, that makes them feel more like there's nothing wrong with them, that, oh, if that person exists, then I could be like that person. When I was growing up, there wasn't many options for me. The closest we had to gay on TV was Wilson Cruz in My So-Called Life. That's all I had. And then we'd have the little movies here and there where, the little independent films that was coming out that we had. And that's what I'm sick of, because it seems to me that when I've been watching a lot of shit that goes on social media and y'all think this stuff is fun, like this boy retarded ass thinks shit like this is funny. When you go and you're like, I'm going to put this on social media and try to get a rise out of people. Oh, are you gay because you won't look at vagina? Why are you exposing your kids to sex at a young age? And y'all talk about the drag queens and gay people, but you out here got whole strippers in your house. Girls clapping their ass on your bed, because I seen the videos. Half naked and naked, all over the house. And then his stupid ass mother, clout chasing ass mother, gets on social media talking about the kids wasn't in the room. Bitch, we seen the video. So how you gonna sit up there and say that the kids wasn't in the room? We seen them in the room with the women. So you're exposing your kids to naked women, but if a drag queen fully clothed reading a book to your child, we recruiting them to try to turn gay. Now, I didn't know we was part of the X-Men and we had magical powers. I did not know that I was, Doctor Strange. And I could open multiverses just by batting my eyes, and I could all of a sudden turn you into a whole faggot. That's not how it works. Being gay is a part of nature. There was a whole video on gay magazine, or gay.com or whatever, on Instagram, where there was a guy, I can't remember his name. He was talking about how like homosexuality existed even like in the old times in Africa. Like y'all, because you let people tell it, white people put homosexuality on black men. Now we can get into the whole conversation about buck breaking and all that other stuff, which did exist in slavery time. That's a whole nother situation. That has nothing to do with homosexuality being a natural thing in human beings and mammals. Animals do it too. Animals have sex with people of the same sex. Well, animals of the same sex, not people. I mean, bestiality, we want to talk about that. That's a whole nother conversation. But that's not where I was going. But yeah, with this situation, People like him should not be allowed to have children present around him. And the fact that his mother was sitting there defending it, this go to show that you don't care about them damn kids. All you care about is you trying to live vicariously through your son's fame. And quiet as is kept, he ain't even the famous one. The one who's really famous is Krishan. And I heard that they're supposed to be trying to get a reality show with him and the whole family and the mother and this, that, and the third. And who is going to pick that up? Because I don't think no major network is going to pick it up. But if Zeus Network stoops as low as they've been doing, especially with the Baddies and Bad Boys and all the other stupid ass shows he got on that streaming service, if he stoops this low and gives Blueface a show after this shit, that whole streaming service need to be burned to the ground. So it's sad that this is what, you know, we have to deal with in this world with people like this. But I'm not surprised that, you know, someone like a Blueface would have this type of attitude. Let's read some of the tweets. So one person posted, Blueface grooming his son, one Twitter user opined, if this had been a little girl with grown-ass men swinging penis in the background, the internet would have crashed with outrage. And y'all wonder sometimes why boys get left behind in society. Agreed. I need Child Protective Services to get that baby like yesterday, someone else posted. Another one wrote, he hasn't even hit puberty yet. Why don't you take him to a nanny or somewhere he could play instead of him seeing this hypersexualized behavior? How can you be so ignorant as an adult? This hip-hop lifestyle y'all force it on kids is not talked about enough. Well, Busta Rhymes started to talk about it at the BET Awards, and DJ called him old. An old man. No, I'm joking. But you did, sir. Oh no, they asked people for their thoughts. Another person wrote, the saddest part about this to me is the line of questioning he just opened up for his son. I see it in kids all the time. They get bullied and accused of being gay, and they hear it so much they start to question themselves because of what people are saying to them repeatedly. And this is from Prince of Pussy 1. Child, these names. Another person's put, he hasn't hit puberty yet. Why don't you take him to... Oh, I already read that one. The hypersexualized one. Another person put, someone take this child away from these weirdos. This so weird. The fact that you have $80,000 watches and not any food in your house tells us everything we need to know. Black Kennedy wrote, y'all be expecting traditional parenting from a Crip rapper with Benjamin Franklin tattooed on his face. LOL. Another person wrote, I ain't even gonna read that name because it's inappropriate. But it said, is it gay to get hungry? Another person put, strip the man's parental rights away immediately. First, they treating the house like a strip club or something while the kids are home. Then the son got to be gay because he want to act his age. WTF. He's the type of dad who wants his son to lose his virginity at 12 or something to an old ass stripper. Oh, we talking about Miss Bussy? Because didn't little Boosie do that with his kids? Where the kids was, you know, having, you know, he didn't want his sons to be gay, so he had them have sex with older women, a bunch of strippers, which is, you basically molested your kids. Another person put, I know who this groomer with the blue face is, but I don't know who this groomer with the blue face is, but he should use the money he spends on these girls on filling his pantry instead. This is what I'm saying. They so hung up on not letting their kids see two men kissing, but allow this type of behavior and content to be spread. It's so disturbing. I'd be heated if I was trying to get some little fruit snacks, but he got Lucy from Figueroa on a table doing the splits. Okay, that was funny. So yeah, so that's basically all the tweets. And like I said, at the end of the day, we gay people, we just want to live our lives openly and freely. We just want to see that there's some representation of us on TV and stuff, and showing like, you know what, there's nothing wrong with being gay. Now, agendas, whatever, agenda spender. I don't have no agenda with that. All I know is that when I if the writing and everything is pivotal to whatever, I just want to see us represented in the right proper way. There's no such thing as us trying to groom children and this and the other. We already know pedophiles are usually heterosexual men or men who are sexually repressed. So I don't know what's going to happen. I don't even know if ACS cares enough to come in and deal with this situation. But we'll see. So I hope I ain't got to talk about this guy ever again. But my thing is this, you know what? I just feel so bad for that child. The cute little boy. And this is what he's got to deal with. He's got to deal with an ignorant ass father, an opportunistic grandmother. And has anybody heard from the kid's mother? Like, what's going on with her? Was she the one that had 2 children with Blueface, and Blueface left her for Krishan, and now that Krishan and him not together no more, he took her back? Y'all can let me know in the comments. All right, so we got 2 more topics, and then we done. So an executive producer is claiming that Will Smith refused to let RuPaul appear on an episode of The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. The series, which ran from 1990 to 1996, has had its plethora of guest stars, such as Naomi Campbell, Tyra Banks, Donald Trump, Don Cheadle, Queen Latifah, Chris Rock, and even Oprah Winfrey. However, according to the reports, journalist Thea Glassman claims that Smith was vehemently against having Mama Ru on the hit sitcom, saying, "I remember him saying that that would be a really bad idea. And I said, no, listen, hear my story." In Glassman's novel, Freaks, Gleeks, and Dawson's Creek, how 17 shows transformed television, executive producer David Stephen Simon reportedly claims he previously worked with Smith and pitched him the idea at the time. Glassman assumed the reason Smith turned down the feature was because of his image, period, the end. Neither Smith or RuPaul have commented on the accusations. Well, do I believe this story? I do, and I'm gonna tell you why. First of all, we already know how weird that whole Smith family is. We already know that Will Smith is very much against homosexual. Remember the time when he was in 6 Degrees of Separation playing a gay character and refused to kiss another man in the movie, which was required? From what I heard, Denzel Washington told him not to kiss that man. So that kind of also says something about Mr. Overbite. Yeah, them teeth stick out his mouth. You know, good looking man and everything. Denzel been hot, you know, toddy for decades, but he do got them front teeth that stick out his mouth like a pack of chiclets. But anyway, so yeah, I'm not surprised by this whole story. RuPaul's had many of times where I believe he's had situations. I remember when he was also on In the House with LL Cool J, there was a story that came out that when he appeared on that show that he had wound up getting into it with LL, that LL apparently had a problem with RuPaul on the show. That was like common knowledge that came out eons ago. And you know, there's been stories about Mr. James Todd. Remember Wendy Williams used to say back in the day. But at the end of the day, it's like when he's dealing with this type of stuff, RuPaul has not been hurting on Cohen anyway. Like, I believe he's worth $60 million. And he's appeared in over 50 films and TV shows, including Sabrina the Teenage Witch, Reno 911, Veronica's Closet, Ugly Betty, Sister Sister, and a bunch of others. He also had his own VH1 talk show for 2 seasons, released 15 albums, probably going to release the 16th around the time when season 16 airs in January, because you know they just wrapped season 16, and has a globally successful competition series called RuPaul's Drag Race. And I truly believe that Will's another one who has, you know, deep-rooted issues with his sexuality. Remember the story that he was hunching, what was it? He was hunching Dwayne, not Dwayne Johnson. Why am I thinking of Dwayne Johnson? Child, I would buy hunching Dwayne Johnson. But Dwayne Martin, Tisha Campbell ex-husband. There was an old story about him. Then I remember somebody slid in my DMs. I ain't gonna tell you no name, but you know I always got people that slide me the gossip. Said one time he went away somewhere to like an island. I forget where it was. Will was there and Jada and another couple, and they said you could definitely tell that they were swapping. That there was some, you know, Jada was with the girl and he was with the dude. So there'd be some swapations going on. And they have an open marriage, which I believe they've mentioned the open marriage thing. Their whole situation is unconventional, quiet as it's kept. Roro says, I need Rue to write a tell-all. I would love for him to write a tell-all. I don't need none of that, the Confucius, little comments that he likes to make. If you can't love yourself, how in the hell you gonna love somebody else? Like, I don't need none of that. I don't need the little quote she would say, everybody say love. We heard that. I want the Hollywood tea. I want to know what it was like coming up in this industry as a black gay man. Well, he is one of the biggest and most successful drag queens in the industry. And what was that like? Like, I want that story. RuPaul Van Zandt. He trying to fix our lives and shit. I was watching I was on Twitter because RuPaul was trending. I'm like, why is he trending? And I did see that there was something where he was talking about but it was like an old clip of him on Family Feud. It was like Drag Race against another show. And that clip was hilarious. I was like, why didn't I see this episode? I need to watch that. Wait, he actually has a book coming out? A tell-all, or is this a joke? Why you give me it looked like the Mistress Isabel Brooks emoji with a laugh cover her mouth. That's what I was giving me just now. But yeah, I say all this to say I'm not surprised by any of this stuff that Will was against having RuPaul on the show. I mean, he had every other guest. First of all, you had I was gonna say you had Donald Trump problematic ass, but Donald Trump wasn't the Donald Trump that y'all know now. Back then, he was this fame hungry clout chaser who was given the illusion that he was this wealthy man in New York City. So he was on a lot of shows in those days. I believe he was in Sex and the City too. Now, speaking of Drag Race, let's get into this Tyra Sanchez story. Oh, speaking of which, are y'all Team Candy or Team Jimbo? I had a whole debate on Facebook earlier today where, people was like, they don't care who wins. They don't like neither one of them. People mad that Candy and Jimbo is top 2. But look, I feel like this whole situation, I'm going to stand by, I believe it's because Akira won Canada versus the world. They had to hook this whole situation up. Where it's like, we need to tailor make this for Jimbo, especially because Pangina eliminated her in the Canada season, which pissed all the Jimbo fans off. Probably gagged the producers. And then, oh fuck, what do we do? So now we got to bring people from other countries, other imports over onto our shows, the American shows, so that way we can give her another shot. But, I've been told y'all that it was going to be Candy and Jimbo way before the season aired. And I have a feeling Jimbo's going to win this season. Candy going to be runner up again. Okay, so let's get into this Tyra Sanchez story. So 2023 has not been a good year for the artist formerly known as Tyra Sanchez. The season 2 winner, who was arrested in May after getting in a scuffle with police, was arrested again and is currently being held in Bradford County Jail. She's probably out by now. But this was, done over on Thursday when I wrote the article. Now, shout out to Entertainment Weekly for this story. Ross was arrested Thursday after publicly protesting his initial May 17th arrest for allegedly resisting arrest after a car accident in Stark, Florida, an incident for which EW exclusively obtained body camera footage in June, saying, "We've arrested James William Ross. He came out and was in this little outfit, and he had the police sign hanging it up and showing and dancing." Chief of Police Jeff Johnson tells EW. He was in a little G-string with a black bra on. It still was within the freedom of speech category. The problem was it was in an intersection within a construction zone, but it wasn't really causing a traffic problem. Johnson explains that it became an issue when Ross went home and returned after strapping on a big old dildo under his tights. Ciao. He comes back out on the road and starts shaking it, and that's when people started stopping and cussing at him and causing a traffic problem. It wasn't bad from there on, says Johnson, adding that Ross was will be booked on one charge for breach of peace. And that's probably what it was, is that when the chief of police said, oh, he wasn't causing a commotion, he needed to go back home and find a way to cause a commotion. So let me just strap a big old dildo on and start shaking my fake penis instead of a real one in traffic and really get people riled up. Now I can get attention because y'all not paying attention to me when I'm just out here protesting like a regular person. So let me just get the dildo and get y'all really riled up, because you know this country, we love violence, but we hate sex or anything sexual. Ross is currently being detained in a holding cell in jail, but is expected to be booked imminently, says a records clerk for the Bradford County Sheriff's Office, who wishes to remain anonymous. EW has reached out to a representative for Ross and to Ross directly for comment. As his drag persona, which he initially retired in March 2020, Ross won Drag Race Season 2 in 2010, beating out other notable competitors like Raven, Jujubee, and current All-Stars 8 competitor Jessica Wilde. I'm so sorry she got eliminated, but I did live for that Roscoe's episode that she was on, which is funny because every time the other, oh my God, I forgot the other drag queen that is on it that asked her a question. Every time she would ask her a question, she would go, come on, like not understanding what she was saying. And then the funny part was Naisha would translate it, but in the same way that the other queen asked. I'm like, ma'am, are you not paying attention, or something wrong with you, or maybe something that I call? Beatface. Lindsay says, well, that is her show. Lindsay says she's Team Jessica. Roro says they're Team Jessica. Felix is quoting Madonna's causing a commotion. Okay, so yeah. So they said what happened? And then remember, Tyra been going through her shit. Like, you know, in the words of Tyra, we was rooting for you. How dare you, bitch? That was me from the beginning. I get it, like the whole thing of how production treated her. I did see the Joseph Shepard interview where she explained all that, and that was sliding over on her side, because I'm like, she's explaining herself and dealing with the whole shit of like how production was mad that Raven didn't win. They wanted Raven to win, but Rue was adamantly, she wanted to pick Tyra to win. And look, Raven is winning at the end of the day. She beats that face on Rue. She beats Rue's mug, you know, every time she has a gig. And she won an Emmy. So at the end of the day, Raven is doing well, relatively, while Tyra's career is pretty much in the shitter. It's sort of like, she's been going through her things, and I know she was saying like the producers set it up where it was like they said, oh, Raven wasn't gonna be there, and then they had her come in after everybody sat down. They had Tyra at the end of the table, and then Raven comes in, they sit her in the center, and then people start the whole Raven is robbed debacle and all that other stuff that happened. And so Tyra felt a kind of way that World of Wonder was playing in her face. And I get your feelings in that, and they're valid. You have every right to be angry over the way they treated you on that show. But over the years, when you were sitting there threatening Tatiana, and you was threatening Morgan McMichaels, and you was threatening to blow up DragCon, there's no excuses for those behavior. And they said, a drag queen is wrongfully arrested. The drag queen protests. The charges are dropped, Ross said. Drag queen is cleared, and now a week later, new charges of exposure of sexual organs because the drag queen protested and drag get real. But look, if you was out here wearing a dildo and they got the evidence, how you gonna sit up here and call them a liar? So figure out your shit, work it on out. I don't understand what's going on with her. Like, Tyra has just been an overall mess over the years. And Lindsay says Tyra can't blame the show for her poor behavior years later. No excuse. The calls are coming from inside the house. But here's the thing. I agree with that. It's sort of like, and it's the same thing with not just Tyra, but a lot of these queens in general. Before I was starting to get a little sensitive to this, I'm like, you know what? Maybe production needs to let up off these queens and stop being so harsh. But at the end of the day, like it was stated, it's a reality show first, competition second. So when you got people up in here who's trying to produce themselves because they worrying about the backlash of these troll ass fans, or you got Alexis Michelle who can't stand by any decisions she makes and wants to blame it on this one, that, and the third. Some people, I guess, don't have that thick skin and don't know, like, okay, just go in, have a good time, and leave. Fuck what the other people got to say, the outsiders who's not on the show. Just go on, do what needs to be done, and just don't give a damn, and just do the best you can on the show, and just keep it moving. And I remember the whole Club Tyra thing, and I was wondering about that because I did see some clips online, and it did look a little bootleg. It was like in a little rinky-dink club. It was like 10 people in there. She was doing a medley of some of the Renaissance songs with this big ass wig on her head and performing. It did look a little rinky-dink. So Lindsay said she should be ashamed of her poor comeback. That Club Tyra was bootleg. Child, you said it, not me. All right, so we have come to the end of the show, child. 3.5 hours. I'm a little, it was a lot to talk about. And yes, so for those of you who stuck by and watched the show, thank you for sticking by and watching the show and chiming in the comments. And this is what I live for. Before I see that, I can't use this damn excuse. Oh, if I do a show early in the day, I won't have the numbers. Bitch, look, everybody coming in, chiming in with the comments, so it don't matter what time of day. That was the argument I try to throw at production so we could do an earlier show. But now he gonna use this shit against me because y'all all in the comments at 2 in the morning. But anyway, the first show of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. Definitely, I'm gagging because I'm just like, I'm happy with how everything turned out, despite the little minor hiccup I had early in the show where I couldn't even get my damn mic and my camera to work. I'm using my laptop camera. I'm not using my regular webcam because it didn't want to connect to the restream. But yes, so thank all of you for tuning in and being in the comments. This is why I do the show, because I love doing the live streams and interacting with the fans as I read the stuff, because you guys help me, keep the show excited instead of sitting here doing a whole live talking to my damn self. So I appreciate all of y'all. Oh yeah, that's why I think I also love the fact that I have a lot of West Coast fans, because I know while it's late on the East Coast and people who are just coming from work or the club or whatever, and they're watching now, you're in LA, so it's what, like 11? Yeah, it's like 11:30 where you're at, so it's still early enough, and you can, watch me while you get ready, and then run out to the club. But I'm gonna need you to fill me in on what you said was going on in them bathrooms at DragCon in LA, child, because I am planning on, that's another thing. I'm planning on going next year to DragCon. So I'm definitely gonna get out there and see the queens next year. I definitely need to go out and do that because they ain't doing it in New York any damn more. So I need to get over on the West Coast. But anyway, thank you all for watching. Tune in next time for a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. I am your host, Chris Avalon. And yes, until next time, ciao, darlings. And yeah, shout out to Ashley Breathe once again for my theme song. Excuse you. Baloney wash. Annoyed. Hey, bitch. I'm just here to give my opinion and carry in. It's Chris Avalon Unfiltered, bitch.